right, so here with Jake from Tree, we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. Probably mostly classic era. We're gonna be talking about raiding, especially with new players, playing what it's like, I guess, to play on classic era. That's probably the gist of what we'll be talking about here. Would you say so?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude! I can't wait to see what you're doing. So you're raid leading for this pretty new raid group, right? Or what's their backstory?
Yeah. So quick backstory of me over the last 2 years and why I'm, I guess, helping this group progress. So I've been playing on Era for more than 2 years. March 2021, I think, was my first raid. I played all of 2019 Classic, but um, I had zero interest in playing Burning Crusade, even though back in the day, 2007, 2009, I played Burning Crusade. I played Original Vanilla. I played Wrath, Kata. I took a little break in between some of the other ones, but I came back in Legion and such. But anyways, like, I've been playing the crap out of Era, and I have multiple raid groups that I play with and multiple geared characters. I'm starting to dabble into the horde characters, but I like raiding. I like playing Era. I like the PvP dynamics, the community dynamics, all that kind of stuff. And I've always been raiding in a DKP guild and now loot council, soft reserve raids, and only recently have been dabbling into any GDKP. I've been really resistant to GDKP, though I do some GDKP. This is a soft reserve raid that I am helping out, and so we're gonna go
Is it like
over.
a guild run?
It's a guild run, but it's a pug. Let's face it. So let's go back 2 years ago when I started raiding. I started raiding in a guild that had KT on farm, and our goal was always to do a sub 60 Naxx, which to me was like, that seems pretty difficult. And
Hell yeah, it's fast.
here I've done a 47-minute, 37-second Naxx. We've completely, over the last 2 years, like constantly revamped the raid team, recruiting better and better people and setting better and better times.
You're one
And
of the officers in there, right? Like you're not just a guy.
yeah, I'm not just a guy. I am an officer. Funny story: the old guild bank manager. I was always like every 2 weeks he would do his guild bank stuff, and I'd be like, bro, I can do this faster. Like, make me. And I post in Discord, I'm like, make Dwarflord the new guild bank guy. And then one day he's like, so you want to be the new guild bank guy? I'm like, okay, shit, I guess I can be. I guess I will be. And then I became an officer, and yeah. So basically, I've been playing Era and doing tons of Naxx. I'm not a pro at Naxx, but I've done a lot of Naxx. I've raid led Naxx. Uh-oh. We're having a small issue here. Stream looking very laggy.
Uh,
We might be having some technical difficulties. It's probably because I'm streaming my VOD or something. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop streaming from Discord the VOD, and we will troubleshoot some ways that I will share that.
hmm We could even just talk, I guess, about your past experiences and
Yeah,
like how
let me
what it's
just
like
let me just
here.
stop streaming this VOD for now from Discord. Let me just figure out how to stop streaming that. There. So we stopped streaming. That should have fixed the lag. I think the computer was just trying too damn hard. As we were talking about before with how that's why people use external computers to stream.
Oh yeah.
So let's just
Oh well, we
wait.
don't need the VOD then.
Uh we'll do without. We can talk
So what were the
plenty.
parts you were worried about, like as a raid leader? Like what parts did you think a new group you'd have to really think about how to teach them?
1 second. I'm just waiting to see if the stream on my end fixes. Oh, it looks to be fixed. Yeah. It's
Awesome.
it's just because we were like streaming too much stuff at the same time. We're good. Okay,
Cool, cool.
so where were we? I'm taking this group of people in. Um, it's a guild that I kind of know, and honestly, I joined them as a joke, right? I sometimes like because I have so many characters, I put my one character in this guild kind of as a joke, just because one of my other friends joined as a joke, and just to be like, hey, look, I'm in this other guild, and so anyways, one time this guild was struggling on Nefarian, and I burned one of my characters' lockouts and went and main tanked it for them, killed it, no problem. And obviously
Awesome.
they were appreciative of that. I wasn't gonna do a raid on. I wasn't gonna do Blackwing Lair on that character anyway, so that wasn't a big deal to me to to do that. But got some people some loot, and then they were doing a Naxx, and I didn't go to that Naxx. I didn't go to their first Naxx, but I saw them forming it, and I sent the guy a message. I'm like, "How did that Naxx go?" And they're like, "We killed one boss."
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
Been there before. Seen that in a pug. It happens.
yeah, and the main
Was it
tank,
not?
it was Noth,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and
The
you know
danger
the
of not first.
yeah, it is a very easy boss. You would think. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, that's not great. Like, so it's a pug. These guys have never done AQ40, so they have Molten Core Blackwing layer gear, and they're like, let's go into into Naxx, and let's
Hell
try
yeah.
and do this. And then they did a cleanup raid, and they killed like another boss. But then, so I'm like, okay, I will help. Let's see what I can help with. I'm gonna try and make this a group that can actually kill like Kel'Thuzad,
Nice,
because
nice.
I I like the underdog. I like it when there are new players on Era. I like when it's a raid that is not GDKP. They're a soft reserve guild. I want them to survive. I want them to thrive, and so I would rather help them than watch them struggle. And so I'm gonna be going on my mage this week. I went on my paladin because they had an available lockout, and so very first pull of the raid, couple people died, and it was the
Was it
skitter pack.
Spiderwing trash? Oh,
Spiderwing
Skitter
trash.
pack. Okay.
The skitter pack. I'm so spoiled, by the way. I'm so spoiled because I do Naxx with experienced players, and people on YouTube will say stuff like, "Oh yeah, Naxx is so easy. Air is easy." Because sometimes someone will pop into stream when I'm in a raid and we wipe, and they're like, "People are still wiping in 2024," but let's be real. Naxx is difficult. And classic WoW, it's very slippery. Like, as a tank, sometimes, I don't know, I use the word slippery. The mobs are slippery. In retail, when you taunt, your 40-yard taunt makes that enemy.
They have a 40-yard taunt in retail. What the
Yeah, you can
fuck?
taunt from across the room, and it doesn't resist. But in classic WoW, it's a little slippery. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you have a taunt resist. Sometimes you have a priest mind controlling something, and it's an instant heartbeat. It's like 1,000, 1 in 1,000 that they mind control it. It didn't resist, but it instantly breaks, and that's really difficult to recover from. You can have a second priest ready to mind control and pick it up, but that first priest is probably dead. And can you recover? Yes, but like I said, sometimes the game doesn't go the way you plan. It's just classic. you know,
Yeah, Naxx is really hard. It killed like 80% of raid groups in 2020, or was 2021? I think
it would have
2020.
been 20, I think 2020. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
2020.
so much harder than people make it out to be. Like you just had to look at how the log amounts just crashed over the first like month. People are like, oh, it's so easy. Like most of the best skills on most servers couldn't kill Sap the first week, or the second week, or the third week.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, it's easy. It's like you got carried by like getting not you, as in like the
Yeah.
people like, oh, it's so easy. Like you got carried by starting Naxx 3 months in and finding a group that already went through the hard shit.
Yeah,
Like Naxx is hard.
It's hard. And it's not that it's like terribly mechanically hard, but it requires gear. And so when I go into a Naxx with almost every warrior having Gressel and we just plow through it, yeah, we make it look easy. But if you remember going back to when you were tier 2, some tier 2.5, and it's like, okay, this is our first kill, it's a different story. And
I
so
think you're underestimating how good you guys are, though. Like, I bet if you guys were in like all BWL gear, you would still have sub-hour Naxxes and smoke the shit out of stuff. Like, I don't think you'd have any problem.
maybe not sub hour, but like it would still we know the dungeon inside out.
Oh,
But
dude, you guys would roast it. I mean, you're very geared, but you guys are so much better than the average group, like
I think so.
gameplay-wise
I
in
think
there.
so. Yeah. It wasn't always that way. Sometimes we had like people who were not engineering. We had people who didn't have their items enchanted because Era was so small in the very beginning.
Items, oh my god.
We took whoever we took warm bodies, but now we only take like the best of the best because we're trying to set a record, and some people think that's cool. Some people think it's lame to try and beat a record from 2019. But I mean, you can look at. I'm sure there are some sports records that have been not been broken for a decade, and I don't know what they are off the top of my hand, but there are these different records, and to some people want to break those records, and it's not. I don't think it's stupid to try and break an old record just because it's an old record.
Yeah, if you like what you're doing, dude, like I think trying to set records, or I mean, it's do better yourself. But like when yourself is so good, like you're breaking records. But I bet you guys were having fun before you were breaking records too. When you're like, oh yeah, we're getting faster. Like
Yeah,
but now it's like you're the record breaking.
there was 3 weeks in a row we broke our record each time, like a couple minutes faster, couple of minutes faster, couple of minutes faster. It's wild.
That's so fucking cool, dude. When you just like have a streak and people are just getting better week over week, like. That's the best way to play the game. It's so fun. Only speedrunning offers it. Like I think speedrunning's way cooler than parsing. Way cooler.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
speedrunning.
skitters, what'd you guys do about that?
So yeah, back to the skitters. Uh, like I'm used to half the raid sappering, and that double packet just disappears. You look at your you look at your damage meter real quick, and you're like, "Damn it, my sapper! I sappered like a fraction of a second late. I didn't hit that many things. Damn it!" And here I'm like, I'm a holy paladin, and I'm the only one who sappered. And these
Oh my
skitters
God.
are like, the AoE taunt's done. People are dying. And then, I explain the next pack. 2 people stay out, everybody else move in. And that's not what happened. People here, okay, everybody move in. And they're like, okay, I took 2 steps forward. That's in enough. But then when the poison spread to 8 people, I'm like, cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. It's just,
Oh my god.
it's a trip, man. We did.
That pack on Horde is so much easier, the stupid poison cleanse totems. Because people, even if you just put it down randomly and then pull the pack, like
Oh,
take
yeah.
3K damage max.
I've been raiding on Horde recently, and there are some fights that are so much easier on Horde, like Viscidus, because you've got the shamans who can now frost shock, so you're freezing it faster, and they're putting their poison cleanse totems down. It's a joke. Their chain heal is so strong, so strong.
Bro, and they say it's bad. Like, I mean, Salve is killer, but like that's it. Like, I mean, Salve is really big. It's
Yeah,
bigger
it
than
is.
everything
It
else,
is.
But
It
for
is.
some fights, there are definitely fights on Horde. Like this dude, I used to skip that when I'd like run pugs and AQ on Alliance. It's like,
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
that fight. It's so expensive. If you have a wipe, it's like, and it's a GDKP, it's like, why the hell are we even here? It's so expensive.
Yeah. I need to farm sacks. I usually farm sacks from Lower Blackrock Spire, but Yeah, it's a whole different beast on Alliance for some of these fights.
When did you use your boons when you did that SR Naxx?
We only use the boons on second attempt of Mexina because there's so much trash that's just risky,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to save it. You got to save it to the end. You know, save it for that boss.
It
And
makes sense.
I need to I need to like go over boss by boss with the main tank because he's never main tanked those bosses. He's main tanked um like that was basically his first time main tanking. He did the previous week but like wasn't super successful, and so I need to like break down everything for him.
That's so stressful as like first time main tanking that shit.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Like when I entered Naxx, I mean, at that time, it was the first time. But when you get a, when you form a pug, and some of these people who join you are 15 of 15, they kind of have like an expectation, and so you also need to create a run that is attractive enough that people are going to want to come back. You got to at least kill Maxina so they have a chance at Kiss the Spider, which did drop, by the way. We had some pretty good loot drop.
good, good.
Yeah, like we one
Yeah, it's always
shot
a spooky
we one
fight.
shot a Nubricon, but Faralina took us like 4 or 5 tries because it was just the mind control. Priests were not mind controlling. I couldn't believe my mind.
Hmm.
I'm like, I need a mind control in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, mind control.
All right, I need a mind control in 10 seconds. All right, I need a mind control in 5 seconds.
Please,
Mind
guys,
control, the
please.
boss is gonna enrage. Like, it's just not happening. The assigned
Yeah, I
guys
hate it when
like,
there's
like
healers
aren't-
that have to do that kind of shit.
yeah, and
If MC was on Warrior, dude, you would never have to worry about it. But like, so many priest players are really anxious, and they're like, I don't want to fuck it up. And so
Yeah.
no one mind controls. You're like, I need a priest to do blah blah. So many priests are like, I don't want to fuck it up and kill everybody, and so none of them do the MC, and then you just all get killed.
yeah. We had an assigned person to do it, but they just
Oh, were
anyways,
they like too close and they got like knocked when they did it or something?
there was a
Or
couple.
did I-
It was like a different thing every time, but we did get it sorted out, and obviously the boss died. That was some painful progression. Then we went and we did one attempt on Maxna, and like our damage was just so low. I couldn't believe it. We got the boss to 25% without buffs, but we blew a bunch of cooldowns. So then we went and did Noth, and I'm like, guys, this fight's so easy. Just decurse, and like we're literally gonna kill it. Boss is at 9%. Final curse goes out, and some of the mages dropped the ball. A lot got decursed, but one did not, and it killed like 90% of the raid.
Oh, that sucks. You can heal through it if it's just one that goes off, but people don't usually heal in time because like 10k damage over like 10 seconds.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I've been in a raid that survived one curse going off when we had like gamer priest doing crazy prayer of heals. Was not that group, and so anyways, the boss died with less than 1% health, and I'm like, okay, guys, run it back, please. Decurse, like, do you guys not want to kill this boss?
I feel like in a good group, Noth is like actually one of the most lethal bosses because mages try to like skirt on the decurses. Like I think when I used to play with real good people back in the day in fucking Naxx, we'd wipe on Noth more than any other boss. Could just be like once every like 6 weeks, the people doing decurse are just like, ooh, maybe I get one less off and I can parse on this fight.
Yeah.
And then everyone fucking dies.
Yeah. Or you get a random bug and someone's decursive or whatever add-on they're using is not working. What if you log in day after a patch? Oh, turns out it's not working. By the way, the new patch today broke equip slot macros. I don't know if you knew that.
That's funny. Uh-oh. That's gonna be a problem for people on my X now to try to put a shield on for the web phase.
Well, they can. I'll explain in a second. One person in streams just like, is speed run still relevant? There's a European guild who's very close to breaking the 2019 records. They're made up of a lot of the old players of the previous, salad bakers and whatnot. None of the above. Some of those players plus other players, like, so some of the top speedrunners are still speedrunning era. They recently came back to do that. So I would say, yeah, it's still relevant. And then someone else, by the way, they're saying, hey, it's that guy who studied computing and is really passionate about WoW, referring to you.
Nice. Yeah, we like WoW, dude. Both of
Yeah.
us like WoW a lot. We like the old versions too. The new shit, it's just okay.
Yeah, pretty much. But so the weapon swap macro. So basically, your main hand used to be 16 and your offhand was 17. Everything has been shifted by one.
What?
The helmet, I believe, used to be one. There's no longer an equip slot for a helmet. It just doesn't exist. And everything's been shifted. So now your main hand is 15 instead of 16 and your offhand is 16 instead of 17. So you can make the macros work. But here's the thing. It's only equip slot that is broken. Use is still the same. So let's say you have a trinket. I believe the top slot is 13. Use 13 works. But if you want to equip something to 13, you have to do equip slot 12. Equip it to 12, but use 13. Explain that to me.
Oh my god, does slot 0 not equip the helmet? Like, I
No.
wonder if they changed the. Oh, what the fuck? This is so weird. It's got to be like an indexing thing. It's like when you program, like 0 is the start of the list
Yeah.
instead of like 1. So like what the hell were the devs doing? They must have been like, well, let's make it the conventional way people program when it's
Yeah.
like not set up that way in the UI. I mean, that's weird to put like slot 0 for like items, but then so it's different on use and for equip.
Yeah. Some of the API hasn't changed. So, for example, we have a real nerd in our guild. He used to make weak auras for, I think during WOD, one of the top guilds. Was it big? I think he made custom weak auras for Big Dumb Guild, I think. Anyways, so now he makes custom weak auras for Phase 7.
Hell yeah.
But he knows all this back end stuff, and he's like, so item rack still works because item rack apparently goes off of the API, and the API didn't change, but the equip slot macro did change, and so that's why equip slot 12 for your trinket needs to work or works for 13, but use 13 still works. So it's only the equip slot. So if you had, let's say you had an offhand use item like the skeleton book, use 16 would work. But if you want to have an equip slot, you have to do equip slot 16. Like it's so everything's
Someone's gonna fuck up with double on use like trinkets. Like that's gonna be funny. They're gonna like pop the wrong one first on the wrong
I
fight.
don't know,
Like,
man.
Diamond flask.
Yeah, so I still have to fix my macros for tonight. Tonight we're just doing a chill run.
On like your warrior with phase 7 or a different
Yeah,
character.
yeah, Phase 7.
Cool.
My main warrior, but the yeah, tonight's just our we'll be doing some tech. Currently we're working on we have a rogue who's been practicing, like he's probably used, I don't know, 20 Petries or more, maybe per week, just practicing this pull. Just practicing a pull where he's got all this high dodge, high parry gear, and he's gonna like grab all this stuff on the way to Mexina and then evasion and tank it as long as he can and then pop a Petri, and we're just gonna skip all that trash.
Dude, that's fucking sick. That's sick.
And we've been practicing the a noob skip, which I always wondered how, like, if you watch Nodas or noobs record runs, they start at a noob recon. It's like, there's trash. How are you skipping that trash? And so basically, what you have a paladin do is grab all the stuff. He has to bubble. He's got to do his speed stuff and consecrate and immolation or throw dynamite. He's got to do all this stuff. Grab everything. Petri. We walk by. I think you were watching the stream when we did this. You walk by, and then he runs back, and you summon him. And then a second pally does exactly what he did while you're fighting a Nubricon, gathers it all up, and you just go around the corner after you kill this boss and sapper everything, and it's so much fun to just, like, you know, normal guilds are going to do, okay, we got pull number 1, then we got pull number 2, and we got pull number 3, and we got pull no, we're just going to do it all at once and just sapper it.
That shit's the best. Like, I love how speed running makes it so that way you do shit that's like it's really dangerous and really hard.
Very dangerous. And it takes a lot of practice. I remember seeing
you doing the tanking on there for that fucking, like, that big pack after a Nubricon, and, like, I think you were saying, like, to people to make sure they face their mobs away, and you, like, grabbed one, you, like, straight to the side and, like, went wide so that way it wouldn't, like, spit on the raid. Mm-hmm. And it's like you and a bunch of other people simultaneously just did that, and if you didn't, it would have just fucking killed everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't even get to pick the exact spot you do it, because the pal, you know, you can't read their mind. Yeah. So it's like there's so many people being smart simultaneously.
Yeah, it takes a lot of repetitions, and we don't have PTR. In 2019, they had PTR. These top guilds, you know, they were in PTR all day long, like, practicing this stuff. We didn't have PTR, although we did for a bit, which is funny because with SOD, they put PTR up for something, they never took it down, and we were able to go into Naxx, and then the European guild asks Agrind, hey, how come NA is allowed to have PTR? Can you put PTR up for us? Closes PTR. They didn't know PTR was even up.
That's so funny. I wish they gave you both PTR, but although I guess it's kind of cool to not have it because you don't have to stress about it. But I don't know. I used to love PTRing. Like,
yeah,
we didn't do it a whole lot, but I did it a couple times.
We would use it for practice. Absolutely, it was helpful to kind of get the get the fingers moving. But it's just kind of funny that Blizzard wasn't aware that the PTR was even up.
It's so crazy. It probably cost them a lot of money to run even, like, a single server. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they have, like, a minimum cost regardless of, like, bandwidth requirement. It's like maybe they were, like, spending like $500 a day and Blizzard knew it, you know? And it's like you're the only customer on the server.
Yeah. Anyways, they shut that right down. Damn Europeans.
I only ever use it for the spider wing trash at the start. Because I couldn't imagine practicing it with full world buffs without boons. Like, so we practiced, like, that pull after a Nubricon, and we did it like 10 times back to back, and then people were like, we got it, and then we never did it on live because we were like, okay, like, we got it after like 10 tries. We're like, fuck it, we're not doing this on live.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks to wipe at the beginning of a raid because you know the rest of the raid is going to be a struggle. But
oh yeah.
But it's the risk. You know, it's not hardcore. Hardcore is a whole other level of risk. Which, hey man, if you want to play hardcore, go for it, but that's not for me. I'm cool to level a character on hardcore. I think that's a cool personal journey, but raiding on hardcore, dude, one disconnect, one weird resist, one person.
I would never do Vesuvius, dude. Yeah, like, dude. How do you do Vesuvius on hardcore? You need like an army of priests that are all like really, really knowledgeable about the fight.
Yeah, and you can use a target dummy, but that's even that's scary. You can have someone lip taunt, but like, here, I'll lip taunt. I hope I don't die. You know? Yeah.
It's nuts how quickly they got like through Naxx too, like multiple
Hmm.
groups in there, like,
Yeah.
and they had a lot of people I think that didn't ever play WoW before, but were just super passionate. Like that shit's it's
That's
fucking
wild.
cool. But
There were a lot of people who were really experienced with Nax leading it. Like one of the raiders in our raid, what he was there on the kill, on the hardcore KT kill. Um,
oh hell yeah.
and then, of course, a week later, he died because he just wanted to stay a little bit longer on Baron Geddon, and he died to the AoE Inferno.
No.
So like how do you how do you kill Kel'Thuzad and then you're like, "Oh yeah, I want to just one more bloodthirst off and then I'll get out," or something, or "Oh, I thought we were committing, like just one thing."
Oh man, it baits you because like like on fucking Baron the damage goes up like every next tick to the last one does like I think like an extra 1,000.
It
So
does.
like if you don't keep that in mind, you
Yeah,
just like
that
fucking kill
that
yourself.
last tick is dangerous.
I remember the first time doing MC in 2019, like I went and did all this research on private servers, but I think it was steady damage and not like a big tick at the end. And I had like a capped FR set. I was like fucking raid leading it and maintaining it. I'd never done it before. And like I was like, okay guys, so I can just eat this effect and it's all fine. And I try to eat it and I just fall the fuck over. And a
Yeah.
guy with no FR picks up the boss and we kill it.
Yeah. Like it's possible to stay in, but you need crazy healers and obviously buffs and a huge health pool would help too.
And I did not have a big health pool, that's for sure. A lot of resist, but
Yeah.
it's a chance you could just not get resist.
Yeah. And that happened.
It's funny. No big risk back then though. Like, do you remember nobody used world buffs in the first like couple months for the most part, unless you got a random Ani, of course.
Yeah, like you'd get it was just Oni Songflower, so easy to get. Now getting world buffs is sometimes it's a bit of a chore, but often it's so easy. Like after like on Sunday, the one guild I run with, they drop a heart and a head, and then there's almost always someone with a dire maul available. I get dire maul, and then on my free time sometime I'll get a songflower, and then there's a rend going out soon. I'll go grab rend, and boom, I'm fully buffed without a lot of effort.
Do you like do the MC cap on a guard thing to get your end, or do you
No,
like
I
use
use a
like
second
freeze
account.
kind of shit? Ah, cool.
Yeah, 20% chance to backfire. No thanks.
Oh yeah, I get you. And horde players are kind of dickheads about it too. So it's like if you have anything go wrong,
Yeah,
this is
it's
real big
not
danger out
worth
there.
it, man. I'd rather do it in a secret hidden spot.
Yeah. I remember we did that too. Like I played Alliance in 2019, 2020, and so like we had like a glitch spot up in the hills of Ogrimmar, and somebody found out how to get up there eventually just to fuck with us. Like they probably spent like
Yeah.
5-6 hours getting up there.
Yeah.
They only killed one guy though, because
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was like this one tank. They were trying to kill him, and he jumped down, which was like probably stupid. Like he jumped down into Ogrimmar, and they jumped off after him, and then they never fucked with us again. So they're probably like, oh shit, we don't want to have to do this over again.
Yeah. That's when you want to have a noggin fogger. Slow fall away.
Yeah, that shit was so nuts to do. They need to make that shit drop in the ally cities, in my opinion. It's just bogus that it only drops in Ogrimmar. It's like way too big of a time suck for Alliance.
Yeah, it'd be kind of funny if they made an alliance like spell haste version, and now Horde are coming into Stormwind or something.
Casters are lazy, dude. They'd be like, I don't need it. Casters are the laziest fuckers. Like they'll complain about mana pot cost when you're like a warrior and you're like 3k gold in the raid.
Yeah.
My mana pots. That's always my experience. Is like a lot of people they play caster because it's like way less of a pain in the ass if you want to rate it at like a really high level than melee.
Our mages, a lot of our casters, they get the they get the Black Fathom Deeps debuff.
Bro, what the fuck? They're doing that?
What is it? 5 intellect? Yeah, they do that.
Oh my god. Does Hetfield raid a few guys? Like that guy's famous on the server, I remember.
Yeah, he raids with us. He's one of the oldest guild members of Phase 7. He's been our most stable mage. The amount of mages we've geared up, even given Atiesh, and then they don't raid with us, it's kind of funny.
Oh my
A lot of
god.
people don't have speed running in their heart. They're like, yeah, I'll do that. And then they're like, I just want to chill like 90-minute Naxx. I don't want to die and lose my buffs. I want to parse. And sometimes you can't parse when you're speedrunning. Like there, for example, there are some fights where it's like don't use a potion because we need that for coming up. So don't use a mighty rage potion, or don't do this, don't do that, you know, or
Yeah, like you
put
guys need lip for Saf, right? When you do the crazy shit with
yeah.
Thaddeus.
Yeah, and then after Hygen, we use a swiftness potion because using like a mighty rage potion to kill him a teeny little bit faster is not as good as zooming to the next boss faster because we're already killing stuff so fast, but we really can't increase our movement more than a swiftness Zanza already does.
Do you guys have like your death wishes planned out in advance, or does somebody like call them out, or do people just
Yeah,
like
we
kind of wing
do.
it?
We do. Yeah. Yeah.
So is it like kind of like you just keep it on CD generally, and then there's some places you
Um,
save it, or what's like the strat with
the
that?
strategy has changed over time. Like there was a time when as we started going faster and faster and faster, we needed to. It's like, oh crap, we can't Death Wish here because it's actually not up anymore. It used to be up, but we're getting faster. So it was like, okay, we're going to Death Wish on this first trash pack instead of on Anubra Khan and stuff. But now we're going to obviously Death Wish on Anubra Khan. But then now we're like, we need to wreck on Anubra Khan because we're not even having recklessness up in time for Saf polarity because we're going so freaking
Oh,
fast. Like, we're going so fast. In order to fit two recklessnesses in, we have to wreck on the first boss when we're doing a DMF run.
that's
Because
funny. Yeah, so like you've changed so much on speeds that it's actually complete. It's like made you shift the strategy over and
things
over again on
constantly
that.
have to shift, constantly shift everything. Yeah.
That shit's so cool. I imagine like people are pretty good in your group about not messing up. Because I remember seeing people use the swiftness after what you call it, the dance, and seeing that like everybody pretty much like did it like very similar time. And I'm just thinking like, how the fuck do you get 40 people to not screw up the pot thing, man? Like that is hard.
There was about 4 weeks we tried and continually failed to use an invis potion. Well, first we used gnomish cloaking device, and we were going through the gauntlet, and then as it was gonna fail or fade away, we used an invis potion. But there are things that AoE in the gauntlet. I know someone would walk too close to the plague beast, which is pulsing a little bit of damage that knocks you out of the invis, or someone would use the gnomish cloaking device, but as it fades, there's like, half a second before they use their potion, so they're out of stealth. And now everything's hitting them, and it's like, well, if one person fucks up, you gotta kill the stuff. And then or it's like, okay, don't go around the corner till we say so, and someone peeks around the corner, and it's like, well, now we're in combat. We've got a white trinket on. We've got the freaking gnomish cloaking device on, and we're just go. Fuck your trinket.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah, I get that, like the risk reward on trying like these awesome strats, because like you give up the run every time that it like goes wrong. I kind of wonder the best runs of the past, did they have that same consideration, or did the PTR make it so it wasn't a problem, And also they had way more selective rosters, I imagine, because they just had like a line out the door of people. So like I
Yeah.
wonder, did they have the same issue? Because like a normal guild that's really good has like the issue that you're talking about. Like I
Yeah.
wonder, did salad bakers? They might not have even. They might have been able to be like, oh, we'll get it eventually. Like we'll do it 40 times in the PTR, then they'll never mess it up where they're G kicked.
Yeah. 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 We have a bit of a bench, but the pool on air is a little smaller. But we are a speedrun guild. There's another Alliance speedrun guild. There's a GDKP that's trying to speedrun. I say trying because, how much can a GDKP really speedrun? They
I do think they have a
can.
bit of a cap.
They can, But it's like, well, if you want people to be buying stuff and have a pot, like, are you just deleting all your tier because no one needs tier, and you're just hoping your pot is for like 7 items that people might need? Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, there's we were the first on North America to do SAF polarity, but then now there's another group trying it. There's another group who wants to try it soon. So these other groups are like, oh yeah, we can do that too.
Hell yeah. How fast are the other groups? Are they like sub hour? Are they like sub 80 minutes?
There's some other sub-hour groups, yeah. One was like
Nice.
57 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice. Sub hour is like pretty wild in
it
general, in my
is. It
opinion.
is. There was only like 30 guilds who did sub 1 hour in the 2019 Classic.
And
That's
sub 80 minutes makes you fucking fast too. So it's like both of
yeah.
these are like crazy. Like I think the fastest I did it in like 2020 was like 70 or 80 minutes. We did not do a sub hour.
Yeah. It's it takes a lot to do that, because the other guild that I've been raiding in, they try to sometimes, okay, we're gonna go fast, we're gonna try and go fast, and it's like, yeah, their fastest has been 1 hour 27 minutes, which is faster than my guild in 2019 ever did. Like, it's still a really decent run.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a good fucking time.
But
It's under 2 hours. It's like, dude, you're trying.
to go sub hour, it's something else. It's something else.
Yeah, and like people can have a lot of fun speed running even if they're not like being super elite like you. Just trying to minimize the time in between pulls and doing no fancy shit. Just like
Hmm.
we will spend 5 seconds between combat drops max. Like that'll get you like that's hard. I mean that'll get you like an 80-minute clear if you just
Hmm.
do that. But it's fucking
We
hard to do
almost never get
like 3
combat
times.
drops.
Yeah, you guys are fucking in combat the whole time. It's very engaging to watch. If anybody like didn't get a chance to enjoy speedrun before, you got to see fucking Dwarflord when he streams these Naxxes because they're in combat the whole fucking time. It is like a seamless experience. It's sick.
Until shit hits the fan, which is sometimes funny, but
And you can replay that part.
yeah. This week, 3 Naxxes I was in, right? Every single Naxx, somebody got feared in the Death Knight wing and pulled everything.
Oh my god.
That happens sometimes, but it happened in Tuesday, it happened Wednesday, and it happened Sunday. It just, the same spot. The same spot. Now, of course,
Yeah, right there when you get in over that. There's a little awning, right? And there's the cage on your left. Is it right there?
yeah, right at that doorway where there's like the patrol and stuff. And it happened
Hmm.
in phase 7, right? We had like 6 people die. When it happened in the other GDKP, we had like uh 20 people die, maybe more. When it happened in the Sunday run, we had about 30 people die. It's just they're different levels of runs, and it's like, yeah, it happened in phase 7, but we almost like powered through it.
Yeah, I remember actually I saw you on your character and like you're talking about like while it was happening, you're like, I have to stay in and do DPS. Like you can't run because if people start running from damage, then everyone dies. So it's like
Mhm.
you're like, I hope I get a heal. You're at like fucking 7k health and you're like you're talking about how you're like slowly dying, but like it's your job to fucking stay in and hit shit.
Yeah,
Like it's cool, you know, it's like it's such a team activity. Like you knew like you're probably gonna get fucked from it. But
yeah.
if everybody didn't play that way, it
Mhm.
just wouldn't work at all.
Like you have to trust the healers. Cause when you have tanks or anybody who, when there's like a distrust, it's like, ooh, last week the guy didn't keep me up. I need to put more defensive gear on. Well, now your threat's lower. Okay, DPS just pulled aggro and died. It's like you got, like, everyone's got to be like putting in 100%. The healer has to be
Hmm.
like just dumping heals on the tank. The tank has to be sometimes in somewhat aggressive gear, appropriate for that fight, and to be able to hold aggro against the DPS.
Do you guys ever have to like double tank any fights because like the pull variance is too bad otherwise, like bad luck?
So I was just reading a comment here. One person says, by the way, you need to start streaming ASAP.
Well, here we are. Okay, I want to talk to guys like Dwarflord because they actually are in the shit doing cutting edge crap all the fucking time. I'd just be talking to myself otherwise. I can't do that. He's able to talk to himself and sound interesting. I'd just be like,
Yeah,
I need a partner.
sometimes I can talk to myself. Sometimes it's tough.
It's good at least in raid. That's when I watch. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I was saying how when things go, people like to watch when something amazing is happening, like a record-breaking speed run, or they like to watch the most disastrous wipe fest, people getting pissy on comms. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, they're
in my group, they get
rebuffing.
pissy. Oh yeah, everybody else had rebuff for Saf and like
Is
AD
someone
back in the
gonna
day.
wipe them on the rebuff? Is there gonna be a sapper group? Like, what's gonna happen?
Do people ever fuck up Thaddeus in like the good phase 7 group, or is that like pretty much impossible without a DC?
No, it doesn't happen. Every now and then someone
Hell yeah.
might fall off. Someone might fall off, but it really doesn't happen.
Hell yeah, that was always a problem actually in every group I was ever in, no matter how good it was. Like every once in a while somebody would be fucking stupid on Thaddeus and be like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Not usually enough people that it kills anybody other than them, but
Yeah,
it would
usually it
happen.
just kills the one person.
Had a priest that played with a touchpad that died on Thaddeus like 3 weeks in a row, and then I was like, you're not allowed to like be in anymore on Thaddeus. And then he was like, okay, and then he ran in again, and then I was like, hey, you're out. Like fucked up staying out of the stack, and like, bro, how does this happen? Just literally stand anywhere away from us.
We
Crazy
have
shit.
a guy in one of my raid groups that he tanks and he uses a trackpad, and I can't imagine because I play on a laptop, but my trackpad, every laptop I've ever been on, my trackpad sucks. It sucks so bad. Like, it's non-responsive, it flickers around, and you're playing WoW on a trackpad
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
and you're
Especially on the
tanking.
healer.
You're tanking.
Oh, tanking.
Tanking.
Oh my god.
Like sometimes main tank, sometimes off tank. It's like,
That's
okay,
crazy.
like, and I was watching him tanking Huygen, the dance boss, and he just like strafes, from position to position, whereas someone with keyboard and mouse, you can see them kind of maybe like they angle, they turn, they walk backwards, and they kind of turn. He's just like strafe.
That shit's nuts. Everyone TBC like came out in like 2020 or 21. There's like some streamer, I think Shadow Priest, that like got 2K rating, and he like had like a spinal cord injury, so like he like had to play with a fucking straw and like voice commands, and I'm like, bro, how the fuck?
Yeah,
How do you
I
do
remember
this?
seeing that. I remember seeing that.
Shit's nuts. What some people can do with such a disadvantage.
Yeah,
I'd be fucking toast.
I do remember in Wrath of Lich King, I raided with a guy who only had one arm, due to some sort of injury. Everything on the mouse. Everything on the mouse. Like a 20 button mouse. Imagine that. Like, like all these side buttons. You
I
can do
rarely
it.
any hotkeys on my mouse. I got like heroic strike. I think that's it. And maybe sometimes kick, sometimes, but not usually.
For me, on my mouse, I like to just have. I use mouse wheel up and down for certain things. Like mouse wheel down is like a taunt, or it could be mouse wheel up on a certain character. It could be like usually a targeted thing, like distract on a rogue or flame strike on my mage is like mouse wheel up, and then you just do the left click. I have a mouse button, my side mouse button for like a grenade. I like, to be able to move my mouse and then select when I want to use the grenade or something.
Yeah, I like that. So most of those things are off the GCD other than like the Flame Strike. Is Distract off the GCD? I can't remember. Might be,
Uh,
but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Usually with distract, like you don't use it that often. You're usually not in combat when you're distracting. You could be, but usually you're just waiting for the right time to distract anyways.
Yeah, I've seen only a few times where people have done some really crazy gamer distracts, like this rogue I played with. Like, I'm sure you know this, but like, if you're just barely close enough that you don't get detected, it'll like distract the mobs. Like, they'll stop their patrol. We had a guy like got a fucking distract resist. It's like anybody else have a distract. Someone's like, mine's on CD, and this guy like fucking vanishes and clicks the vanish buff off and goes up and like does that like fake distract. And I'm like, bro, how the fuck are you so confident that's gonna work? This
Yeah,
guy's just a freak.
yeah. Because if they see it, because if they, otherwise that if they see through the vanish like your stealth, they're gonna come at you.
Hmm.
You don't
Yeah,
have
shit's
another
fucking
vanish.
wild. Yeah, yeah, you're toast then. Like fucking, not too many chances for shit like that. But I love it when crap like that happens in game. It's just super niche. I can't even think of anything else like that really off the top of my head. Are you
Hmm.
considering doing like DIs on Mexna to make it easier to heal through the web wraps? Is that like something you're considering for that SR group?
Oh, that's how we did it. Yeah, that's how we did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have two enrages you probably have to eat with that group's DPS, right? So it's like pretty much required.
We only went through the one in rage. We got the boss because we use recklessness at like 30%, like 31%, and just like.
Hmm.
But there's one thing I forgot to tell the tank.
Oh
Put
no.
a shield on when she enrages. He
Seen that
died.
many
He
times.
died at like 1%.
Whoa, he lived that fucking long without the shield and shield wall for it?
Yeah.
Fuck your healers, dude.
It can
They're
happen.
good.
But sometimes, there's that parry haste and you just get deleted. And so anyways, he lost buffs and like one or two other people died as well. But
It was like right at the end though, right? And then
right
you
at the
you
end.
lost or whatever.
But we
Man,
got Kiss the Spider.
fuck yeah.
And
Did one of their
yeah,
guildies get it?
a warrior in their guild got it, so that's cool.
Yes. There we go.
And like I said, I need to go boss by boss over with this guy and be like, this is what you do. Cooldowns, potion, everything, because he lost his buffs, and then we're doing Hygen, and he died because he had that poison on him that reduces his health by half. If you had buffs, that's means that your half is going to be a lot more than the other half if you don't have buffs. So, anyways, he he just had like maybe a crushing or who knows what happened while that went out instantly because I couldn't cleanse it fast enough, and he died. So then I asked him, so you had a stone shield potion up, right? He's like, stone shield? No.
Oh, yep.
It's like, well, that might have saved you.
Those are so rarely used. I found back in the day, same thing with like most tanks don't use Demo or Thunderclap at all. Like, and it's huge. Like Demo's bigger than a shield on most fights. It depends on like
Demo shout is
position you got.
very strong. Demo shout is very strong.
You're gonna have to go check all that shit probably later too, unless you just like know the guys who are keeping those debuffs up. Like I'd always keep it up if I DPS because it's just like fuck, I don't want to die because this shit's not up. It's so easy for someone to forget when they're doing all the other crap tanking, you know. So
Yeah,
I bet in like phase 7, you can't let the tank do any of those debuffs, right? He needs every global for threat probably.
pretty much. Yeah, it's just the off tank. Like our X tank has improved Demo.
Mm-hmm. Cool, cool. Do you guys use like the bird also to get like the last bit of AP off the boss? Or you like fuck it,
The bird?
like the hunter pet?
Oh, I think we have an owl. Yeah, I think we use an owl. Not
God,
always,
I was
but
never able to get
sometimes.
hunters to be into
Yeah,
that. He's be like, I want to use a cat, dude. I want to do 11 more DPS.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure we have the owl.
Hell yeah. So much just little shit, dude. I fucking love how Classic has all that tiny little bullshit to worry about. It's
Yeah, and you
awesome.
know, people say classic's so easy, but it's like it's difficult to have that perfect fairy fire uptime and those quick sunders and like every single person doing everything that they can to support the raid, you know, cursor rec, cursive elements, everyone's getting this stuff up. And so some people think, oh, look at that, it's 21 warriors or whatever, but it's just how it is, man. some
Oh
people
yeah, if
some
it
people
was so
enjoy
easy,
those
everyone would have
support
done it.
classes.
Yeah, I like being a priest in Naxx. I don't usually like sport classes, but like being a priest is fun. I like being able to dispel on Hygen because if that's not fucking snappy, that's like so hard to survive. And also prayer. Prayer healing's fucking sick. I love using prayer healing.
Although in Horde, it's so interesting how Alliance use priests as their like AoE healers, and they've got paladins for the tank healers. But for Horde, it's shamans are the AoE healers and priests are the tank healers.
Dude,
Yo,
if
Macedonia,
like you know how
glad to
paladins
hear
are
that.
fucking crybabies about keeping blessings up and pugs and shit? Like shamans with totems, it's a whole nother level of fucking stupid.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so bad.
oh yeah. I hear it all the time. You got the raid leader like, why is this group not have Wind Fury down and stuff?
There's always an excuse too, just like for the paladins. Someone would be like, "My bad, dude. I'm gonna totally fix that." And be like, "Oh, the warriors, they must have capped their buffs or something, and it couldn't apply, dude. I swear the totem was down the whole time. The logs are lying.
Yeah.
That's how it always is." I got a shaman, so I love keeping the fucking totem up all the time. But it's like you're tempted to say fuck it in a pug because you get dog shit healing on the trash if you keep the totem up. And so like if raid leaders are stupid and they like incentivize like GDKPs, top heals is the best healer and they get a bonus. Like okay, that's going to be the worst healer in the raid if they're a shaman for sure because they're not going to use their totems at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like to be able to reward performance, but sometimes it's really tough to have a good metric for performance on a healer. Like if you're a tank healer and your tank didn't die, but your overall healing wasn't crazy high, you did a great job. Your tank did not die.
It's true.
Your tank didn't die. And that was your job, was to keep your tank alive. You were assigned to heal one person, they did not die.
Yeah, I'd always just do discretionary bonuses with the healers because I tried like coming up with straight math ways to do it, and it's like every time I was like, "This sucked. This sucks. It's gameable. It's not
Yeah.
gonna get the behavior I want. Fuck me." So I just have like a bigger cut if I was running a GDKP, and then I would just like give it to the healers. I give them a higher flat cut, and I'd like take a smaller admin cut, something shit like that.
Yeah.
Sucks how it's hard as a healer. Like they can't look at parses either. They got weird metrics. So much easier to be passionate as a DPS. Just hit shit.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that military wing trash skip.
Oh, oops, I think your audio might have cut out for a second, or it might just be me.
Uh, I was just responding to a stream comment.
Cool, cool.
Just push to mute. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it better to just
Oh,
say-
don't worry about it. Yeah, you can just say whatever. It
Yeah.
doesn't fucking matter.
Well, someone was like, "Oh, have you heard about the military wing trash skip?" I'm like, no, I didn't."
Oh, the invis shit when you're going down the stairs. Like I remember Salad Bakers did that, or maybe it was Noda. But I don't know how that works with like the trash requirements.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe those
about-
aren't required mobs.
I don't know.
I remember seeing you guys do the stables all in one pull. Like I was wondering if you were gonna do that last time. I was like, man, that's easy to fuck up too. Like
Yeah.
you get stampeded fast as fuck.
Mm-hmm. And if one person dies, it's like, ugh. Now we gotta res them. That's 10 seconds. Every time someone dies, it's 10
Oh, yeah.
seconds. You gotta res them. You gotta buff them. They've lost their buffs. It's huge.
Yeah, it's like tons of healer gold or mana time, one of the two,
Mm-hmm.
Like they could just pop a flask, but it's expensive.
Well, the guild bank. So we run a guild GDKP. We do a world tour on Thursdays, right? So we do in about 2 to 2.5 hours. We do AQ40, Blackwing Lair, Molten Core. we just power through it with like full world buffs, geared characters. The gear goes pretty cheap. We bring a couple buyers and they can often get like really great deals because stuff goes cheap. We get decent pots, but not like crazy big pots because we don't have like a ton of people who are like, bidding up all, like we don't search for like a ton of buyers. We just get a couple buyers and they're going to get some awesome deals on loot. Bis loot goes for, a good price, but so anyways, we take a small portion of that for like we take like a 3% cut to go to the guild bank, and then we use
That's
that
so
gold.
small. What the heck?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
you guys run like the nicest GDKP ever. I think most of them on Horde, bro. If you're running a Naxx GDKP, you get like 10 to 20% of the pot.
Yeah. Yeah, we take
Maybe that's just a Horde thing.
No, it happens on Alliance too, but we take like a 3% host. Well, it's like a 5% host cut. A teeny bit goes towards the raid leader. A teeny bit goes towards person doing loot. Most of that goes towards of that 5% goes towards the guild bank. There are some bonuses for tanks and such, but it's a pretty fair payout system, and yeah. And then
Cool.
and then it's
Yeah, nice
ironic.
hold it
It's
way.
ironic that people mock us for taking a cut for our guild bank. And it's like, bro, your GDKP that you run takes an even bigger cut for yourself. And we take a little cut for the guild bank because we're trying to do something here. We're trying to like be able to buy flasks for our healers so that they're not like spending 1,000 gold every time they drink a potion kind of thing.
Yeah, you guys take hardly any. Like when I used to run a GDKP, I had like a variable cut. Like I'd reimburse everyone in the raids, combat potions, so not like a mongoose, but like all the other shit, and I would double anything a healer used in the raid. And so like if the raid went smooth, the way I had it set up is I get like if we fucking annihilated everything, I get like a 15 or 20% fucking cut for me. If it was fucked, I would get like a 5. So like you guys taking 3 is like nuts.
Yeah.
I can't believe people are complaining. Like I've never heard of a cut so low unless it was literally no cut at all.
Yeah. And then
Especially Naxx.
in the raids that I host, I don't take a admin cut at all. I what I do is I main tank it, and there's a decent main tank cut, but basically I give myself a 5% bonus for main tank, raid lead, loot master. Like I do everything, invites, roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally do everything. It's like a 5% cut.
Yeah, that's like nothing. I'd give 2% to the master looter. That shit alone stressful and sucks. Like bidding stuff, like fuck. If I had to pay more, I'd pay more. Like touching loot in a GDKP is a nightmare. Fucking nightmare.
It's a thing, and I do it all. I literally do it all. I'm a one man show.
God.
I could
Yeah, you're
charge
fucking
more,
nuts.
but I don't want to.
You're silly. Maybe you should try it, dude. Then you can give some gold to your boys. But if you just love the way you got it, hey, whatever works, bro. You know.
Yeah, I used to take a small host cut and put it into a community fund for giveaways and prizes and events, but it turns out that people don't want to participate in events where they get free gold.
I'm not too surprised. People don't want to log in. They want to see the shit for a little bit on YouTube, but it's a pain to log in unless you're just super into Era.
I don't know, man. I try and do fun stuff, but it doesn't always work out.
Do you play Age of Empires, by the way? Because Medina plays Age of Empires, and I think I might start doing it some.
Nope, I am just 100% classic era. I enjoyed Diablo 2, but unfortunately bots have ruined that game. Some people say bots have ruined era. I think you can still have an awesome experience on era in spite of the bots that there were. There's so many less bots. Like 95% have moved on to SOD. It's funny how SOD players say era sucks. It's all the bots and GDKP. It's like, yeah, but 95% of all those botters, they left era and they went to SOD. So have fun. It's gonna get real interesting on SOD real soon. You know,
Yeah, in a
like
game like WoW, I don't even think the bots matter as much as like Diablo. 'Cause Diablo, like fucking everything's tradable, right? That matters, or am I
exactly,
wrong about
yeah,
that?
yeah. So even if um, there's a ton of bots on WoW, you still need to go in there and kill the boss yourself. And sure, there's the occasional swiper that can buy stuff, but like I said, I've geared up all of my characters with soft reserve and loot council, DKP, and the very occasional GDKP.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I especially think I'm like, there's not a ton of BOEs that are super useful. So it's like, even if there was a bajillion bots on Era, like it does suck that people can buy gold and that causes like
it mostly
inflation.
affects the consumes. It just affects consumables.
Hmm. It doesn't even affect them too bad though, as long as all the bots aren't like farming gold. 'Cause it's like if the bots were all like picking flowers, it would just make Era run better, in my opinion. Unless people think that consumes being exclusive is fun. So it's like I don't know. Era's way more resistant to botting than like more modern versions of the game, from my limited knowledge of retail and my knowledge of like TBC and Wrath. Like TBC and Wrath think had a lot more BOEs you could actually buy on the auction house. It's like we got Lionheart. I don't know what else. Fucking Edge Masters. It's like it.
Yeah, yeah, just edge masters. So it's interesting. There used to be a lot of fly hacker bots in Strathlome, and they were farming a buttload of raw gold, and that's what made everything really expensive. Now the bots are just kind of creeping back in, and if you fly certain places, you'll see on the coastline where no one goes, like
Mhm.
10 or 5 or 10 characters just fishing, just bots. So there are fishing bots. There are the occasional other kind of item bots. Then there's also boosters. So like some certain things like Solid Stone are really cheap because there's a ton of people killing rock elementals. I think in Maradon. Um, but overall, a lot of prices have come down, and Air's in a pretty good spot, I think.
Yeah, when I was playing on Horde, like prices were like really high, but it didn't really matter too much in my opinion. Like as long as you're willing to do like a few GDKPs, it's kind of like the inflation transferring money to gold buyers. Like if you do a couple GDKPs, like it really transfers like it back to you. But if somebody wanted to just raid in like an SR or an LC guild, like it would kind of force you to go, like pick herbs if you wanted to get your consumes, shit like that. But
But the reality is that there's not a lot of competition. I go out in the world and there's not a crazy amount of people picking flowers. It's not that bad.
oh,
You
okay, sick.
you
Yeah, 'cause
you
I've never
can you
really done it
can
before.
do a couple laps here, a couple laps there, and you can get your consumes for the week. It's
Nice. What do
just
you think?
whether
Like a
that's what
couple
you want to
hours?
do. Some people don't want to farm. It's like, well, hold on. This is an MMORPG, and you need to prepare your character with enchantments on your gear, and you need to have different potions and this and that and bandages, and that's part of the fun. And then you go and collect world buffs, and you prepare your character, and all your other friends do that, and you group up and you take down a boss together. That, to
Hmm.
me, that's part of the experience. And if you don't like to do that, then play a different game. Play a game that you can just log in and start shooting people. Go play some gun game, some first person shooter. Because like if you want to play some sort of fantasy game that involves consumables and professions, like either swipe or play the game for real. Go out there and farm your herbs and sell them so that you're gonna farm tons of herbs. You're gonna sell some so that you can get your blacksmithing stuff. You're not a miner maybe, but you need to afford your sharpening stones and stuff. So you got to play the game,
Wish they'd like
man.
drop gold in like the raids or something. Like it'd be cool if they like 10x or 20x the amount of gold you get from killing bosses. So that way it made it so like human labor was more rewarded than like bots. But
Hmm.
like yeah, you can. It's if you if you want to farm or do some GDKPs, you're not like at a some massive disadvantage by not buying gold. But like I bought gold before, but I was able to get plenty of gold just doing fucking GDKPs. Especially if you want to like host a fucking GDKP, like any 40 man and take like a 10% cut, like that will pay for like all your fucking shit. Granted, not everybody can do that, but
yeah,
it's not that
there's
hard.
not a lot of people willing or with the experience to raid lead. Sometimes having a good tank, so it's okay, I need to have a geared tank if I want to run a GDKP. Whether that's you
Yeah, it's a
or
big
your buddy.
consideration. I would never want to run any raid pretty much that wasn't a guild one unless I was a fucking tank. It's just so much harder if you are not the tank yourself. But I
Yeah.
love warrior DPS, so I'm always able to do that.
Yeah, I tank my raids and I know who's tanking them. I'm tanking them.
Hmm.
I, it's interesting raid leading this Naxx soft reserve because it's like I gotta make sure that everybody in the raid is doing what they need to do, and I gotta make sure this tank is standing in the right spot. Is he turning the boss the right way? A lot of stuff that I'm gonna have to go over. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a trip.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to heal and raid lead because I think healing is like the highest skill role in the game, or as in like it's like healing you have the most things to pour your attention into. I feel like even as a tank, and if you think it's like higher skill, there's a lot of times where it's like there's nothing I like have to do here to think about. But as a healer, you could always focus more on the bars. I feel like.
If I was raid leading and main tank healing, so I'm just basically like I'm just like healing the main tank and not
There
even
you
think
go.
I'm a paladin, I can't run out of mana. I'm just like flash healing the main tank and I'm just like, looking at timers and looking at what people are doing and
Hell yeah. Do you use any fancy add-ons for your raid leading for I don't know like BRs or other CDs for people?
unfortunately don't I don't track people's I track AoE taunt cooldowns and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't track battle res. It's useful information to have, but at the same time, I'd rather just people not die.
Yeah, no, I've never really been a big fan of using add-ons. I've used
Oh, I use a lot of
the AoE shout
add-ons.
one before.
I use a lot of add-ons, but more for aesthetics.
I, oh
My
yeah, I like your UI. It's cute.
Oh, you like it? A lot of people are like, your UI is interesting.
I don't see why they would think it's like, in my opinion, as long as it doesn't take up all your screen, it's whatever. And yours, it's like the bottom like ninth. It's nothing. It's not like a fucking MOBA UI where it's like a third of your screen. Like you play fucking Dota 2. It's like you have this bar that's like 5 inches thick on the bottom of your screen.
I've had comments like I have the worst UI North America.
That's funny.
That person must have looked at like 100,000 user interfaces to come to the conclusion that mine is in fact the worst one in North America.
That's crazy, dude.
They
That you
would
won that
I'm sure
award
they
from that
wouldn't
guy.
make such a claim without having looked at every single UI in North America to be actually 100% sure that mine is in fact the worst.
It'd be kind of funny to try to like make the most fucking awful UI possible. It like blocks like the most of your screen and like still show that you can play fine with it. Like just have like a couple little holes on the screen where you can actually see it and everything else is just blocked out.
Our main tank's UI is so bad. It's
Oh
so
no, what's
bad.
it like?
This is what he can see through. Everything else is just shit. I can't. I'm not even joking.
Oh my god, the one in phase 7 that is.
Yes.
Hey, well, whatever works,
Whatever
right? Fuck, I
works,
guess.
man. There was one raid, and we're pretty sure he was just shutting it down. But on his stream, he tabs over to RuneScape while main tanking Naxx. He was just shutting it down or something. Maybe he forgot he had RuneScape open, but it's like, he's like tanking a boss and he's like auto run and he like closes RuneScape in a
Oh
speed
my god.
run.
Yeah, tanking in WoW and 3 ticking fucking iron ore in RuneScape. You'd need an actual additional arm to do that shit. I wonder. I wonder if he's fucking actually playing it during the runs.
We hope not. We hope not.
some people can do some wild shit like and do good in raid. Like I knew this one dude, and I used to do raids with him. Like we'd both like be in a raid together, but like not like I'm running the raid or he's running it. And one time he wasn't able to make raid for a bit, and his character like needed to get a piece, and I didn't need any pieces, so like I went on his character to raid for like a few weeks, and I'm like, bro, you have like 5 hotkeys. Like, did you like accidentally clear them with an add-on? And he's like, I don't really need hotkeys to do good. And I'm like, what the fuck though? You have 5, bro. You play really good. He's like, I don't need them. I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm clicking your fucking buttons when I play this character.
Yeah.
He had like cleave, heroic strike, bloodthirst, whirlwind, and like intercept, and that was like it. Nothing else was fucking hotkey. But he did really good. So I was like,
those are the most commonly pressed buttons. And there are some there's this one streamer, one guy, I think he was in Salad Bakers or one of these top guilds, and he swears by clicking some abilities. The reason being that you can be button mashing and have your mouse over, let's say you want to use like a trinket or recklessness. You can click those abilities. Even if they're key bound, you can like sometimes you might want to like have your attention span to like the buttons you're pressing and just move your mouse onto that trinket. And then just think to yourself, okay, when I move this button, like when I move my finger, then I'm going to use the trinket, but I can still be like focusing on my rotation, which it is a simple rotation, but nonetheless. I think you can argue for sometimes where clicking is okay. Like,
yeah, shield wall and wreck. I go back and forth on having it bound or not. I haven't accidentally really hit shield wall before because you don't have a shield on, but I've hit wreck on accident like before. I can't I'm positive I've done that. And whenever
my recklessness button is a little bit off to the side. It's number 8. So it's not near my normal keybinds. It's kind of off to the side. So, or people should have a shift modification for recklessness. It's kind of like when you got the red button, but in order to press the red button, you gotta like lift this latch, this protective button cover to hit the red button. You know, you don't accidentally hit the red button. It's like, okay, we're lifting the latch. Psh, launch the missile, you know?
I was thinking getting a foot pedal for recklessness before. It's like $30 to get like a USB foot pedal and fucking buy it. I'm like, I'm never gonna accidentally do this, or like actually even just like a literal big red button, mostly because it'd be funny. Like,
imagine if it'd be funny if you have like a cat or something. It's like, my cat just popped wreck.
Oh my god!
They walked on my foot pedal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if
some people do push to talk foot
on the
pedal.
Keyboard.
Push to talk foot pedal.
Ooh, that's a good one, dude. Yeah, it's a good one. I have like Alt is my push to talk key, which is like kind of a problem because there's like 2 hotkeys that use Alt. So like sometimes I'd cue the mic just like randomly.
Yeah, I used to have what was my? I had control as my push to talk, but now that's my push to mute, and so my only push to talk is my mouse button. So.
Cool.
I do like push to talk on my mouse button, but I hit it so much that this is my mouse button.
Oh my god.
I got my mouse button here. Let me put my mouse button back on. Can't have that thing falling off.
Yeah, I need to get a new mouse. I have like this cheap Chinese one that came with a laptop I used for 6 years. It's a piece of shit. It's probably got a dog shit sensor, but you know, like World of Warcraft doesn't really matter. But if I tried to play Counter-Strike, I'd probably get fucking railed.
I have a pretty good mouse. It looks kind of funky. The brand is Rat. It's a brand that went out of business, then a company bought it, and so it like
cool looking.
Yeah, like it has some exposed wires and stuff. It has this button that doesn't work. It's like a zoom button for like if you got a sniper rifle. That doesn't work. And wow, I was never able to bind it to something. That would have been kind of cool. But it has, and then it also has this other scroll wheel. This is a
A
side.
sideways one? What the fuck?
It's a side scroll. I've got the normal scroll, but then I've got this side scroll, but it doesn't do anything. It has weights, so there's weights. You can change the how heavy the mouse is, and what I really like about it, you can even see a wear pattern from my finger, but it's got this sidebar that my thumb rests on, and so it's a really comfortable mouse because like my fingers they don't drag around because they're like on this rest.
Oh, it's kind of cool. That
And
side scroll thing would be interesting for PvP if you want to button mash something.
yeah, but I haven't ever been able to bind it, so I don't know. Oh, and one other thing that's cool is you can change the size of the mouse. There's this button here, and it allows me to telescope. So if I've got a really fucking big hand,
Sometimes your hands just change size.
I can telescope the back of the mouse out. And so, yeah, anyways, I mean, that's the mouse that I use. I have decently sized hands, so I have it, telescoped a little bit.
Yeah, you're tall as fuck, right? At least you look like it.
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah, okay, I'm like 5'9".
But
I'm
anyways,
tiny. You're fucking giant.
somewhat.
Somebody before asked that in chat. They were like, "Is Dwarflord 10 feet tall?"
People ask.
Yeah, someone like right at the start of the stream. I didn't notice it until a little bit ago.
Oh, that's funny. One person had said before, like, you got to be like, you're like 5'8". I'm like, no. No.
Yeah, no fucking.
I have a
way.
very long arm span.
Yeah, unless you have a fucking fisheye lens, you're fucking huge.
Yeah.
So do you play anything other than WoW though? Fuck, like you never played Age of Empires, play Command and Conquer games, anything like that sometimes?
Actually, Command and Conquer was one of the first computer games I ever played. I played the original one, then I played Red Alert, and then I played Tiberian Sun, and I enjoyed those games. Oddly enough, I never got into, in spite of my neighbors playing the shit out of StarCraft and Warcraft, I only ever played Diablo for Blizzard games. I only ever played Diablo. Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4. I like the classic games. Classic era, classic WoW, Diablo 2. But yeah, I never played Warcraft.
We should do Red Alert too.
If
we could find a way to do that.
Red Alert?
Yeah, Red Alert 2. Would you play that? We could probably find some people.
Yeah, I didn't know they made a Red Alert 2. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've never played Red Alert 1, but I've played Red Alert 2 before.
Gotcha. It's probably very different,
Oh yeah, 'cause Red Alert 1's like from the fucking mid-90s, I think, and I mean Red Alert 2 is probably the late 90s. I don't know, maybe it's early 2000s, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. It was a funky game, Same concept, obviously, as StarCraft or Warcraft. Send your people out, gather stuff, build stuff. But yeah, I don't know why I never got into those. I just I played them for a little bit, and then I got into Diablo, and it was just like Diablo is all I did. And then someone's like, "You should try WoW." I'm like, "Okay."
Hell yeah.
But I never played Warcraft and never played StarCraft.
Yeah, I got into WoW kind of because I played RuneScape, and then one of my friends was like, "There's this game called World of Warcraft," and I'm like, "Okay, but like, why would I play that? I have RuneScape." And he's like, "When you die, you don't drop your stuff." Like, whoa, dude, fucking show me this game. Like, I'm like 10 years old, so it's like when you're a 10-year-old, you're a fucking idiot. Like RuneScape's even slower. Well, RuneScape's faster paced than WoW, but like back then, people didn't play it like that. So it's like, how the hell do you get yourself killed in RuneScape? By not paying attention for like a minute straight. But when you're like 10 years old, dude, that is all the time. All the fucking time.
Yeah, I've watched our main tank stream some RuneScape, and it's such a very it's an old game. It's a simple game, but obviously there's a lot of people who like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came back to it before the classic relaunch. And then the classic stuff was happening. I'm like, fuck this, I'm playing WoW again.
Yeah.
It's more, I like WoW. It's like definitely my favorite fucking game. It being
Yeah,
so
man.
slow paced and being like knowledge based, love that.
Yeah, I like WoW. I put a lot of time into it, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I wonder
So
how much
many,
time
so
we
many
put into that compared to
projects.
like our educations.
Yeah.
Probably competes with it. Maybe not for you, because like you fucking did a lot of extra schooling, I imagine, for your shit. But I think I probably put more time into WoW than into like college.
No, I've put I. My schooling was 8 years, and some of my schedules were like 40 hours a week, in class, like in
Hmm.
a chair in class.
Yeah, plus studying, fucking holy shit.
But I've but that was over 8 years, and I've got 20 years on WoW, and
Hmm.
there are some weeks where I've probably put in 40 hours a week on WoW. So
Fuck, more than that, dude. I'm sure we'd pull 80, 100-hour weeks in WoW sometime. You know, just being stupid
oh
on a
yeah, when
break
the
or some
when the
shit.
Diablo, I have this embarrassing screenshot of when the Diablo 2 beta came out. They're like, they sent this email. They're like, thanks for playing the beta. You played, I think it was like 60 something hours over a weekend.
Hell yeah. That's
A
so funny.
weekend. Friday,
Yeah, I was on
Saturday,
like 3 days
Sunday.
straight.
It was like Friday,
When
Saturday,
fucking.
Sunday, Monday, and I spent one of those days with my ex-girlfriend. There's a reason she's my ex.
Hmm.
Probably
Yeah,
had
it's like, well, you're
something.
sleeping like 5 hours a day. Fucking playing all the rest
Probably
of the
had
time.
something to do with my Diablo 2.
Hey,
But
pixels are forever, dude. You got to get the pixels in Diablo.
yeah,
It's important.
yeah,
Done that before with the insane game time. Remember doing Scarlet Monastery 10 mans before they nerfed it. Like, it did that shit. I was up for like 3 days straight on the launch of WoW. And then I like went to bed because I was like seeing stuff.
hmm
And then I was like, okay,
yeah,
I need to like play a little less.
yeah. I definitely. I'm very committed to the games I play. I don't dabble in different games. There's different people, whether they're a streamer or not, and they're like they play this game for a week, then this game, then this game, then this game. I'm just like, I want to master a game, and I've been playing WoW for so long, and I mean I'm pretty good at it, but I can still improve, and there's more I want to do. There's the thing I like about Classic Air is there's just like all these side projects, right? Like I want to get this item on this character, this item on that character, and
It'd be very hard to learn all the little micro mechanics in the game. Like, I learned something new like 3 days ago. Some guy mentioned in a Discord that if you pop a lip and then use the orc racial, you don't get the Mortal Strike effect on yourself, which like kind of makes sense. It's like a physical debuff, but I just never thought of that interaction before. Like, as always, like,
yeah,
how
like
do you
there's
use
just
MRP?
so much stuff.
I love that. I love how you're so rewarded for like knowing things in the game. Like, the button pressing is like a pretty minor part of being a good player compared to
It
knowing shit.
is
Like,
because the button pressing is so easy, but there's just so many different things that make it difficult, or sorry that that make it where it's like you make it look easy, or these different things, all sorts of things. There's like little things like dropping a target dummy and bopping the target dummy, and it just keeps AoE taunting. They did that in hardcore a lot.
that's a super good example, dude. That any of the time, like when you're talking about high again, like the normal people who don't have to use just the keyboard, fucking being able to like shift their perspectives, they can like move kind of like in a parabola instead of like a straight line. Like, just that shit. The first time someone does it, it's like, oh, I'm gonna kill people and stay in the wrong spot. But like, if you just know, it's like you just memorize exactly where the parts are, and like you're confident about how hard the boss hits, and then it's fucking cake. But it's like
Hmm.
mostly knowledge, not like it's not like Counter Strike where like somebody could tell you, okay, you got to do this, and then you just miss the shot.
Yeah.
I love how slow paced WoW is. It's a great feature of it. I
Hmm.
wonder in retail, like if it's probably a lot more like in the fingers instead of in the mind because it's just so quick. Although it's probably harder cognitively too by like a huge amount, but I like WoW being
Yeah,
slow.
yeah, no, there. when Vanilla went to BC, I stopped playing for a little while and went back to retail. There was some really difficult Mythic raid bosses, because I raided on Mythic, and there's this one boss called Painsmith, and like there's basically like these fast moving walls of spikes that come at you, and they have a little gap, and it's the same pattern, and so you got to learn this pattern, and some of them are easy because there's a gap here, and so you go to this gap, and then the next wave that's coming at you, the gap is like a step over, so it's just like whoosh, 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 so easy. But then now you got to go to the far other end of the map, right? And so you're down here, and or sorry, you're here on this platform, and the next opening is like over here, and you need to, like, as that opening is like coming down, you need to like run diagonally, avoiding like through these, like this narrow alley of spikes, and just get there in time. You got to use your, and everyone has to time their movement abilities and different stuff, and everyone has to make it alive to the end. And then that takes a lot of practice, and
You have to memorize all the patterns, right? Like you can't just react to it in the moment. It's too tight of a margin.
yeah, like you'd have to memorize it, and then it's like, okay, we're going to use this movement ability here, we're going to use like a warlock gate, like a teleport there, and there's all this stuff. And there would be
That's
timing,
fucking cool.
there'd be timing stuff, because you could pass these other walls of spikes, because they would be like if this is the ground, they'd be going like, and so you could, very, if you time it perfectly, you can pass the spike and it don't take damage. There's some spikes that will one shot you, there's some spikes that you have to like move through, and yeah, there's just a lot to practice. And you put like 600 pulls on a boss. Mythic raiding and classic WoW speedrunning, they're both very difficult, they're both very different, because with Mythic raiding you don't have world buffs. You're just pounding yourself against this wall until it breaks. With speedrunning, it's like, we've got one shot. Okay, is this the week? And you need DMF, so that means you have 2 weeks per like month.
Uh-huh.
It's very different. You're like training for this one opportunity, and if you fuck up, next week you can maybe do it. And if you fuck that one up, next month is when you'll do it.
I love the risk. I wish the raid prep was easier, but like I wish I like the risk and how you get limited shots in classic, but I wish that getting the buffs themselves and getting the consumes was easier. Like for example, in Wrath of the Lich King, I wouldn't even imagine why somebody would buy gold, because like what the fuck are you gonna buy in Wrath? There's like, I mean, other than there's some BOE items, but like as far as if you just want to like be a regular raider, like I don't know what the hell you'd want to buy unless you go to GDKP.
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of like that, but so I wish it was like the Chinese servers and the buffs dropped every
On the
hour on
hour.
the fucking hour. That'd be sick. Like, give us super reliable, easy to get world buffs, and then you still have the risk. Because I get it. Like being able, if the world buffs meant nothing and they just put extra stats on our character, I feel like it'd kill classic for me. Maybe it wouldn't though.
But they're not too tough. In the evening they drop a lot. If you want an Oni to drop at 8 in the morning, you might be sitting around for a while. But in the evening they drop like crazy. So yeah, they are sometimes a little tough to get, but not too tough. They could be
especially if you're on
easier.
Horde, it's real easy.
What's that?
Especially like if you're on Horde, it's real easy. I mean, you get less Onis, but like the free rend is just such a blessing.
Yeah, Rend on Alliance is it's a thing. It's a mini game, all on its own. If you got someone hunting you, if you got an enemy.
Fuck. Yeah, an enemy. Does anybody try to mess with you reliably or not really?
Only one time.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's kind of funny.
I've only ever gotten
I
killed
was
by
I was
Hatfield.
making a video when sorry, not Sod, when Psalm was ending. I was making a video um saying like, hey, come play on Classic Era, and saying how like it's so like I don't get why some people transferred to Wrath of Lich King, because you had the option to take your level 60 Psalm character to Wrath of Lich King. I'm like, I'm not sure why you would do that. Like my friend from Classic, he transferred his horde from Psalm to Wrath, because
Oh
in the
no.
video I pull up a log and I'm like, see, this is my friend. He transferred to Wrath. Like I don't get that. But this guy here, see this season of Mastery log. This guy, he is now on Era, and you know, and I said, so now I be killing him, and he didn't like that that I said I be killing him, and so he found me out Rend, and and he got me.
I
But
found out
what am I?
about Era being popular.
But it's
Oh, what were
like,
you saying?
well, two rogues jump me. Like, what am I gonna do?
I mean, even one, if you don't have Thunder Fury, it's really hard to beat a rogue that's like any good as a warrior. If you have
Yeah,
Thunder Fury, I mean, unless they're really good, it's
it
like pretty
depends
easy. But
on
if they're really good, you're toast.
spec and stuff, and race. It's dwarf against rogue is really good, but I I anyways, I get Rand in a much safer spot now, and I've never had any issues. I did end up dueling that guy one time on stream on his hunter, and I killed him a couple times. It's a really tough matchup because he's a orc hunter with like sure-footed. He like resists so much of my intercept stuns, and like I
Shouldn't really be possible for you to beat a hunter if they're got PvP spec. I mean, 41 yard range, like 35 max on intercept, right? Like it should be
yeah.
actually impossible for him to lose.
Yeah. Anyways, I
Without
got him a
even
couple
being that close.
times, and it was fun. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, there's
I
definitely
remember they
some shit talkers out there, and some griefers, and it makes for an interesting community. Makes for an interesting community.
yeah, I've only been killed by Hetfield out in the world pretty much. Like when trying to get a buff, but he hasn't gotten me while I had a buff up.
Hmm.
One time I fucking he has this scout character that's Horde that he leaves next to the flower, and like everybody knows it's him, and I'm sure he's not trying to hide it. Like because he would know. He would just hide it. It'd be pretty easy to hide it, so he just doesn't give a
Yeah.
fuck. And I was trying to get one of my friends buffed, and so I like go onto my warrior and I go there and I message him and I'm like, "Hey, do you know when the flower's up? It's really important to me that I get this flower because I have a raid coming up, and so like if I don't get this flower, I like won't be allowed to go to raid." And I messaged him that, and then I like log in on my friend's account, and he like Palm Pyro's the one that I messaged him on, and I'm like, "You motherfucker, I'm happy that worked." But I was like, "You're fucking kind of a scumbag." Yeah, so Hetfield, you're funny, but you're also kind of a fucker.
Yeah. He likes to take the buffs. I'm not a huge fan of. I love PvP. I'm not a huge fan
Uh,
of taking people's buffs because it makes me feel bad to inconvenience someone.
Songflower is not a big deal, but like
Songflower
fucking
is
Rend
not
is
a big
fucked, I
deal.
think.
Songflower is
Rend and
not a big
fucking
deal.
DMF.
I'm not in. I don't like griefing DMF. Like some people want to sit there all day long, and hey man,
Hmm.
if that's what you want to do, go for it. But not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I don't like any of it, but like I think especially Rend and DMF are like you're really costing someone a lot of time.
Hmm.
As in like if you're Alliance and Rend, anybody for DMF. Songflower, it's whatever. It's fucking whatever. But
Not too long
I think he only
ago,
does that for the most part.
yeah, there's this shaman who purges a lot in Stormwind, and so not too long ago, I did a raid with him on my horde, and he's like, "Yo, are you daggers?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, I play rogue. I'll put you in a good spot on Cthulhu so you can backstab." I'm like, "Cool." And I thought we were like cool and stuff, and then like the next day, I grab Songflower on my rogue, my alliance rogue, and I hearth, and beep, he purged it. I'm like, bro, I thought we were cool. And then a few minutes later,
Yeah.
he messages me and he's like, "Sorry, someone put a bounty on you. I wouldn't have done it, but someone put a bounty on you." I'm like, "What? Who put a bounty on me?" Turns out it was a friend who jokingly put a bounty on me. Anyways, it was a songflower. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, Songfire is not a huge deal.
No.
Fucking one time, accidentally, my friends took somebody's like DMF. I shouldn't say accidentally. They wanted to do it, and I was like, "Hey, like, but what if that guy has DMF?" And it's like this druid. We were in fucking Ironforge, and this druid is like running away from the fucking inn. And one of my friends was like, "I bet he has world buffs." And I was like, "What if he has DMF though? We shouldn't kill him." And they're like, "Well, if he has DMF, I definitely want to kill him." And they killed the guy, and then like an army of their guildies showed up and fucked with us. Which is totally deserved, but
Yeah. For
yeah, I don't
me,
like messing
for
with
me,
buffs.
it's just like I don't want to ruin someone's day. I don't want to ruin someone's week.
Mm-hmm.
I that doesn't give me enjoyment. Now the world buff griefers, like they're getting something out of it. Like, they're getting off it when they
Oh
take
yeah.
a full rack of buffs, blood's probably flowing somewhere. I don't know what they get off on, but they're getting off on something. And like I can't. I don't someone has spent time like I don't want to ruin someone's day. What if someone worked for 12 hours and then, for like let's say over the course of 3 days they've buffed their character and now they've gotten Songflower and they hearth to Stormwind and they unboon that full rack and they're booning it and you just res and palm pyro them or something and you've ruined their raid night that they've been looking forward to. They're going to put their kids to bed. Hey, honey, it's cool. I can play on the computer tonight. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you ruin their night. I don't want to do that. But PvP, I love PvP. Battleground world PvP, but I don't like to do the whole world buff griefing. I don't know. It feels bad for me.
There's way more crazy people on Horde that like it, in my opinion. Like because I've only played Horde on Era, and it has been like literally, I don't know if I have ever lost a buff like ever as like a Horde player.
Well,
I'm
now,
pretty fucking careful.
now
But
there are Horde griefing Horde. They're paying or leveling Alliance rogues to mind control cap someone in Orgrimmar when they're unbooning and rebooning, and the Horde kill that guy just because they want to fuck with their own faction. They're like, it's like the next new drug. It doesn't do it for me. Killing Alliance doesn't do it for me. I need to kill my own faction.
that's fucking. It's funny but shitty, but it is kind of funny.
And
Oh
I've
my
seen these
God.
videos where people kill these people with world buffs, and sometimes it's kind of funny. I just don't want to do it myself. Like, sometimes it's deserved. If someone was a dick, someone ninja'd something, someone did something that the era server, whatever community, it's like we don't like what that person did, then it's like, hey, maybe they do deserve something, but that's a case by case basis.
Uh-huh. It's wild how even though there's twice as many like Alliance as Horde players, it's still just so much more dangerous on Alliance because Horde players just have so many more psychopaths. If you play with Horde players, dude, they will claim that Alliance players are more aggressive. Like you've probably seen this before, but Horde players are like Alliance players are like 100 times more toxic than Horde players, dude. They're like way more aggressive. They're like always fuck with me in the world. Like, bro, Alliance players are like 80 fucking times more care bear than Horde players in a good way.
Yeah.
I bet there's more ninja looting on Horde too, but I'm not sure about that. But if I just had to guess,
It doesn't happen too often. A little
yeah,
while
it's like
ago,
we run runs, we never see it.
a little while ago, someone Flickster, a very notorious Alliance druid, been on Era for a long time. He ninja'd an item, the really good healing trinket off of Ysandra, because they forgot to do Master Loot. And he wasn't in Discord. They said, okay, everybody pass. Everybody pass.
Mm-hmm.
He hit need.
Oh my god.
He says, I didn't hear everyone passing. I don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole story behind that.
Oh, you know it's a lie. You just know because it's like people just fucking are like, hey, I'm gonna fucking. You hop in Discord, like like if you're actually curious, like you got like 3 minutes or something to roll on loot, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's like well over a minute.
Flickster is different. Flickster is different. He's like different. He's special.
Okay. Is Wonder Druid still a player on Era? Because that was a guy from Herod.
Yeah,
who, like,
Wonder Druid's been gone for a while. Wonder Druid and Flickster, they used to go at it in Discord. And you're like, who's the best Druid on Era? They used to go at it, man. And Wonder Druid was a crazy swiper. He also often, he would safe spot in Battlegrounds. There's video footage of him doing that. I don't know if he ever got banned or whatever happened there, but
yeah, he played on Herod. Like he actually used to be in a guild that I ended up the raid leader of later on. He like left because he wasn't gonna get Atiesh, and so he like went and bought a bunch of gold and like bought it in a GDKP. Which
yeah.
I mean whatever. If you really want Atiesh, he played a whole bunch and he was pretty good, but he seemed like a fucking crazy person. But I mean whatever. To each their own. Hopefully he wasn't too much of a dickhead. I know he'd say like racist stuff. I'm pretty sure he would like all the time, but I never saw it. But I heard about that. But who knows?
I didn't have a ton of interactions with him, but people have done some crazy stuff for Atiesh. Atiesh makes people go crazy. So it's like, I want to be next in line for Atiesh. You're second in line. That's not good enough. I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a guy that was in line to get Atiesh in a run I was running, and he like kept on threatening to G quit, and he had like 10 shards, and I was like, you're not getting it anymore. And so this guy was like 11 years old, I think. He was a really good raider, but he's literally like 11 years old. Like we're playing in like 2020, and I played with a bunch of his brothers, and he like wouldn't stop threatening. I'm like, if you do it, I'm gonna fucking do something about it, dude. If you keep on threatening G quit, it's gonna be a big fucking problem. And I was like, hey, you're not getting fucking Atiesh. And apparently like cried for like a whole day about it. It's like, this is what you fucking get. Hope you learned a life lesson, you idiot. What are you doing? Just people get weird as fuck in the game about legendary items. Although I mean, this is different.
I had some fun experiences in Era. Actually, not like the 2019 Classic. A couple times with in whether it was a raid or a battleground, and people of all ages, people from all over, all walks of life. Just in general, the last 20 years of WoW, realistically, people from different countries that I've played with. And this one time I was doing a dungeon with someone from like, I don't know, Chile, and like I hear like tropical birds over Discord out their window and stuff. Like,
that's fucking funny, dude.
It's like, here I am, killing this, like fighting, but like just the connections that we make. And ultimately, I've made a lot of awesome connections on Era, and that's a big reason why I still play.
Yeah, I like how it feels. It honestly, when I was playing Era like all the time, it felt more like Classic WoW than 2019 Classic did. Like, there's so many people on Era who literally missed the boat on 2019. They're like, oh, I'm gonna play WoW. This is the first time I played WoW in 20 years. And
yeah.
Those people actually fucking rock.
Yeah, and people comment on YouTube or something, or they hop into stream. They're like, I can't believe you're playing Era. Like, why would you be playing this? Well, I mean, I play. I've said multiple times already why I play and why I enjoy playing. But why other people are playing is because, yes, something was going on in their life, and they were unable to play during the 2019 Classic. They were busy. They were overseas. Maybe they were in military. Maybe they were sick. Who knows? Something crazy was going on, and they couldn't play. But now they can, and they want to. They want to check off that box. They want to kill Classic Lich King. They never did, and they want to. And that's why people are playing. Some of them, it's unfinished business. They never did it. They someone wants to biss out their character. They have a goal, whatever the case may be. Like, there's so many different reasons that people are playing Era, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I love how you can still find a guild in Era regardless of your skill level, and like find one where people hang out in Discord kind of all the fucking time. You know, it's super cool. You can get to know people that do all sorts of shit. Like, it's crazy. You can get to know somebody that like has a felony from when they're young, or someone that's like a fucking like a surgeon, or you know, like a truck driver, like someone in the military, like there's some weird shit. Like everybody, anybody.
Hmm.
It's crazy shit. Super fucking cool.
Yeah.
Don't think
Yeah.
you can get that in too many games. You can't even get that in the other versions of WoW as much because like the raid teams are smaller, so like the Discord communities are just smaller and less active. Like 40 mans just kind of make Discord automatically like 40% bigger than you know like 25 mans.
Hmm.
I imagine people hang out in the Phase 7 one probably like all the time since you guys are serious. People probably more tight knit than the average guild, right?
Opposite.
What the fuck, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. Usually like
So
really.
here's the thing, right? Phase 7 is like people who want to speed run, and the Discord channels sometimes have like hundreds of messages in them when we're talking theory crafting and stuff. But in terms of the guild hangout channel, it's always empty.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Usually it's like really serious guilds I thought had like crazy active communities. Like all the more serious ones
But
I've
the
been in have been like
casual
that.
guilds have people in the channels all the time.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that too. Fucking or any guild with like multiple raid teams, it's like kind of casual. Like these GDKP guilds on I don't know if it's that same on Alliance, but on Horde, like there's only a couple of them. They're fucking huge. There's people 24/7 online hanging out.
Hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, like, it's interesting because Phase 7 has like a lot of the best players from different guilds. Like our number
Hmm.
one warrior, Kazik, who's been in that guild for so long, he used to raid Infusion, which was a pretty good guild, in 2019. It wasn't
Oh
like,
yeah, they're super good.
yeah.
They're still around.
Hmm.
Well, like it's not on like Wrath or whatever.
Yeah. So, anyways, like we have various people who were kind of like the best of their guild, and then you're like putting them all together. So it's almost like when you're putting together like the Avengers or Justice League, like they don't all suddenly become best buds. The Avengers just are together because they have this one dude who's like a really good leader who like brings them together. Otherwise, a lot of them almost hate each other. Hence, civil war in Avengers. So, like, you have all these people who are like, we just want to fucking smash this record. And that's about it. They're not there to make friends. And it's not to say that we're not friendly, but we're not always like in Discord just chatting. Usually, what happens is
Hmm.
people will stay in the channel after the raid for an hour or so and dwindle off. But yeah, we used to call that roster baiting. After the raid, it's like, what could we have done better, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's very raid focused, but not like friendly, chilling, chatting. Yeah.
Oh, I getcha. Yeah, it makes sense. Huh. I wonder if it was like how it was in guilds like Salad Bakers back in the day in 2019 also, or
Yeah, I
maybe it
don't
was a
know.
little different.
I don't know.
I'd love to hear from like some people and something like that. Like, what the fuck was it like? And because those guilds were also like they were gigantic, I'm pretty sure, like fucking like 10 raid team kind of bullshit. Like,
Hmm.
man, it's like must have been a more than full-time job to run guilds like that.
Yeah.
One raid team's enough. Have you ever like been leadership in a guild that tried to run multiple like raid teams?
No.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. I tried it one time. It was fucking stupid. Gets in the way. If they're trying to be equal, if you like want to have two equal rate teams, like, good luck.
Yeah. Because it's team A, team B,
Yeah, it
I
just
don't
ends
want to
up
be on the
that
B
way.
team. You say you suck?
Mm-hmm.
They always,
Thanks, man.
team A's always got the better tank, healer, and DPS. They kill councils out every week and we're struggling on 4 horsemen. Send us some of your better players.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it was crazy your four horsemen, how you guys like timed them all dying so damn close to each other.
Hmm.
Like it was only like a few seconds off, like perfect having them
Yeah.
all go down together.
That took a lot of trial and error of who do we put on this? Who do we put on that? What cooldowns do we do?
Was Kazik on Zeliek? I know people usually put like their highest DPS players on Zeliek, right? Or am I wrong about that?
I don't think he was on Zelik. I don't think he was. I
Oh,
forget.
okay.
I'd have to double check.
Yeah, I remember trying to like do stuff like balance the sides and Thaddeus and Wrath, like for
Yeah.
example, and it's so hard to fucking get it right because people's performance shifts like quite a bit, like week over week. And just if you fuck it up, you just waste so much time. You look so stupid every time you fuck it up, but it's like it's actually just really hard to get it the balance right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what other fucking wild fights in Naxx? Dude, low with that. How many fucking healers do you guys use? You like go light as fuck on heals, right?
I think we've gone as low as considering 4 healers.
Bro, I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine having four
And it's
healers
because
on
our
low
tank
though.
uses Diamond Flask and a heavy mitigation set where he's able to use his Last Stand life-giving gem, his Diamond Flask healing to keep him up for an entire minute and not need a single heal. And then we have 4 healers who are going to and it's also a lot of DPS, right? Because if we can kill him in like 90 seconds, then we only need 30 seconds of healing. And if we can do that, you know, if 4 healers are able to keep him up for the 30 seconds, right? Yeah, it's kind
Hell
of
yeah.
crazy. It's kind of crazy. And we also have healers doing a recombobulator, right?
Oh man, that's fucking funny. Yeah, I've never done that before. That's awesome. Hell yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I remember healers messing that up. You have like 10 of them and they wouldn't be able to heal in order, and I'd just be like, how's this get fucked up?
Yeah.
Like eventually in the groups I was running back then, I would like call people by name,
Mm-hmm.
like instead of like asking them, because like they would have to remember who's gonna call them. They don't even really have to remember that. But they have to remember who they're gonna call, and like somebody would fuck it up, and everybody would like freak out. And I would have a fucking like post-it note on the side of my screen and be like name, 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 and just like read through the list for them.
Right. I mean, we have a weak aura now that, or deadly boss mods or whatever it is that's able to track that, and it shows the cooldown and when they're available again, and
Yeah,
it's
we try stuff like
alphabetical.
that, and people would fuck it up. And
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to slam my head into the desk.
Yeah, it's one of those fights where as a healer you only have to heal once, maybe twice, and it's like, all right, it's your turn, and they're like, and they mess it up.
Dude, healer, the role most likely to have an anxiety disorder and then just like fuck shit up in a hilarious way, like people who play healer. It has got to be, someone's got to do some fucking research on that, but 100% that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like DPS get like overconfident, healers get like very psyched out.
I would say DPS sometimes are, especially warriors like divas.
Oh yeah, dude. A lot of diva warriors. That's so funny. What's up with the bingo thing? I saw that
Oh yeah,
fuck the Krazik guy, like Krazik dies. Like, does he just freak out when he dies, or does he die a lot, or does he not die a lot? Like, why is that on the bingo thing?
Kazik doesn't die that often. I do have a funny soundboard clip where he's like, "Oh, Bob Kazik, Bob Kazik." He says that like once a raid, "Bob Kazik, Bob Kazik." But it's just because like he's the best DPS on Era. He's the number 1 DPS on Era.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah, dude.
NA and EU. And so for him to die, it's just like, well, this raid's getting shitty. Bingo. We're gonna mark
That's
mark
funny.
that section. I unfortunately have a bit of a reputation for sometimes forgetting to unboon.
That's funny.
And
Happens.
so Malik forgetting to unboon or pop a flask is on bingo.
That's fucking hilarious.
I like to blame the fact that sometimes, because I'm the guild banker guy, I bring like an extra stack of frozen runes. If anyone needs frozen runes, trade me. So I'm trading this stuff out, and he's like unboon, and I'm trading stuff out, and then I miss it. Like somehow I don't hear it because I'm like, let me separate this, and then it's like, okay, let's go. I'm like, wait, shit, I didn't unboon, and or I forgot to flask. I forgot to flask a lot when I was on PTR because I pop a flask on PTR, and then we go to live, and in my head, I popped a flask. Wait, no, that was
Yeah, I
on
getcha.
that was on PTR. You know, I thought I did.
Pretty minor mistake though. I mean, it doesn't set you back too much, especially
No,
if
not popping a flask is not that big a deal. Especially when you're fully world buff, like you can survive without that extra health. But it's nice cushion.
I used to forget the fucking cloak on Fire Maw like fairly often, and so anybody that played with me back in the day, like if we ever get to Fire Maw, they always fucking whisper me, they're like, "Remember your cloak."
Don't
like,
forget the
even if I was
cloak.
like, even if I was playing like a fucking healer or something that doesn't need it, like people who played with me back then, like have 100% rate of like being like, "Remember your cloak." I'm like, I deserve this, but you're still a fucker. But I
Yeah.
deserve this. That's a way bigger
Fuck
deal
you,
than,
but
like,
thank
a
you.
late boon.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually did forget. Thank you, asshole.
Oh yeah, that would happen. Yeah, yeah, it would. Be like, oh, that's a really nice cape you got on. I'm like,
It's happened to me probably twice. And it's bound to happen. And you know what? That's where I go, like, that's what I was saying earlier. Classic WoW is not difficult, but it's a 20-year-old game. Sometimes it's a little slippery. You forget to put on this silly, stupid blue cloak, and now it's a wipe.
yep, yep.
Like,
Fuck.
it's just you're raid leading, you're main tanking, you're doing this, you're that, and then you shoot, I forgot to put my cloak on, you know.
Yeah,
Happens.
I had one time where I forgot to put it on, and I was like, the off tank, to take the buffet. And depending on the timing, as the off tank, you might have to eat a breath. Like,
You
not
might, yeah,
usually.
you might.
And so like I fucking, and it was like a pug too. So it's like I like taunt the first time and it's fine. I don't eat a breath on the way out. And I taunt the second time and I eat a breath and I like die and like somebody yells at the healers and I'm like, fuck, I gotta say something. Someone's blaming the healers. I'm like, I didn't have my cloak on. That was my bad. Can I
Yeah.
get a battle res?
Sorry, guys. Battle res me. I'm good for one more taunt. Maybe
Yeah.
two if I'm lucky.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck. Happens.
Hmm.
But it's, of course, like usually I was raid leading, so it makes it even worse. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, you can always say as the raid leader, like, I'm allowed to mess up. I'm paying attention to too many other things. I'm allowed to mess up.
it's like I hope nobody else fucks anything big up for the rest of the raid, because like now I got to be a little nicer.
Yeah.
now I've made this fucky wucky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's probably the mechanic I've screwed up the most. Just forgetting the fucking cape.
It's
But, I
easy
mean,
to
yeah, there's a
do.
lot
It
of
happens
mechanics.
to the best of us.
Uh-huh. Fucking KT void zones. I've died to that like twice ever, and like each time it's like seared into my fucking memory.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I only ever died to that once, and it technically wasn't my fault. Sometimes the mind control fades,
Oh, that's so unlucky.
and you're
dude.
in it. You're in it.
Yeah, I was just an idiot. I was being like one of the extra tanks on the stack, in case the main tank got an MC. And like I remember, like I died, and someone was like, someone was about to yell at the healers again. I'm usually really good at mechanics. It's like I die, and someone's like, "Fucking healers, when you get," I ate a void zone.
No,
You know,
guys,
that's
that was
like-
me. That was me.
It goes from like yelling in Discord to like someone laughing and calling me a fucking idiot, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it happens both times.
I used to make some death compilations of people like standing in the void zones. Got a couple.
That's funny.
I tried to do that, dumb ways to die. It's kind of funny.
We had a rogue that was really good at like not the same one I talked about before that did like the detection distract, but he was like the second best rogue I knew. And this guy was like really cracked to do like the like after batching got removed to do the crazy vanishes where you got like a 50 millisecond window. But he just died to the void zones like once every like 6-ish blockouts. And so he got lampooned 24/7. Like he wouldn't fuck up literally any other mechanics, but he would fuck up a void zone like every other DMF or something like that. And so he was just toast. Like, you get fucking made fun of for it every time we do KT. They'd be like, make sure you look out for your feet. You don't want to stand in the black stuff. It'll kill you.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck you guys.
There was a little while on Era where the void zones were under the ground and they only kind of showed up a little bit.
Bro, what the hell? That sucks.
You know how they kind of go up into the air a little bit, like faintly, right? You got the circle on the ground, but then it kind of like goes up a little bit. You just saw that. You didn't see the circle at all. You just saw like the glow, a little bit of a glow.
That would so likely kill me because, like, I don't know. I feel like some of the things you like program yourself to notice a certain part of the like the way it looks.
To see it like the periphery, kind of.
Yeah,
your
like I would just be
peripheral
fucked.
vision.
Yeah, it'd be like on Cro-Mag, like when I'm trying to dodge the breaths, like if he didn't have the cast bar for the breath, I would not like dodge it. Cause like that's what I do. I like get at max melee range right next to the fucking corner. And like the second I see that like cast bar start, I dodge. So like if it didn't show it, I would just eat the breath like every time for sure. I wonder how many people that killed when it was doing that graphical bug. Like that must have been just a slaughter.
A decent amount. And then you got the Cthulhu beam that's just like twitching. It's like
oh yeah,
sprinkling.
I always wondered like how many people would say because like it's always been smooth on my screen for the most part. Like as in like it wouldn't like move back, but it would like kind of jitter forward a little bit. But like some people be like, I swear, like it didn't hit me on my screen. I always wondered like maybe
no, that's actually a bug. That's not just a thing on the screen. That's like everybody is seeing this bug. It's a recent thing. Last, I don't know, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months on Era. It was broken, then it got fixed. Yeah. It was broken, and then it got fixed when AQ40 in Season Mastery came out. Because like, oh, well, we're releasing this boss on Season Mastery. We better fix the boss.
I hate that Cthulhu I-beam mechanic. That's like one of my least favorite mechanics in the game. Like you fuck up, it usually punishes somebody else. It's like at least it's on the last boss, so it's not so brutal. But man, I fucking hate mechanics like that. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like the KT ice tombs. I don't really like that mechanic. I feel like it's like super brutal in the way it's like implemented. But
yeah, if someone's in a bad spot, you could chain a lot of people.
Yeah, like you guys doing like the stack together and then spread when like the CD's up, like that's such a fucking good idea to like keep people like paying the fuck attention. I feel like I imagine that's why you're doing it.
Well, we do it because that way there's no parries. It's just more damage to attack from the back, right? No parries.
Oh, okay. So you'll get parries if you're at the side. I wasn't sure.
Sometimes a little bit, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just a little bit.
Fucking KT, dude. Oh my god. I remember doing him the first few times. That guy really, really sucked at the start. Saf sucked the first few lockouts ever.
Saf's a big throughput. KT's like sometimes you get lucky RNG and he's not that tough. Other times he's a real nasty boss.
Mm-hmm. People doing too many shackles is always funny. I bet that doesn't happen too much with you guys, does it?
Not in Phase 7, but you know, in other raids. It's like, oh, a fourth shackle went out. Now they're all loose. Yeah,
that shit used to happen like all the time, and like I do these like alt pug shit Naxxes and fucking even if you count them out one at a time, like we're gonna do only one more shackle. Okay, no more shackles. You're saying it for like 6 seconds, and someone's like, I'm gonna shackle. Oh, it hit me. I had to shackle. Like you.
What about no more shackles? Did you not understand?
Fucking healers, dude. Okay, they need to give shackle and mind control to warriors. Actually, everything where like every class is a one-off utility thing, give it to warriors, so that way it's easier to find somebody to do the fucking mechanic. All right.
Warriors don't but warriors don't like doing mechanics.
Yeah, it'd be like guys like me and you doing it.
So many warriors who are like, don't make me do this. Don't make me do that. Give me TSA. Don't make me do any disarms. Don't make me lip show. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, we had like a guy who he was an off tank in one run and he was a rogue in the other, and he would like get the lion's shares of kicks on KT like every time, and he'd always do like the super utility stuff, which like hammers your DPS. If you're doing that shit like super lively, it fucks your DPS up really bad. And so like it's okay. Here's like this here's this legendary item. Here's fucking Ashbringer. Like you got to find some way to reward those guys. You know, unless you're the raid leader, and then you can just like do the shit yourself. Depends,
Yeah.
you know. But you're not always able to, because it does suck having or like being the fourth tank on like in Naxx, where you just tank a couple dangerous trash mobs. That is a shitty assignment. Like the fucking ghouls at the start of
Yeah,
late
yeah.
wave.
So I used to main tank, then I went to X tank, then square and moon, then fifth tank is triangle. Nor is that diamond? Diamond triangle triangle. Anyways, now I'm sixth tank, just because I've been tanking for so long and I want to do more DPS. It's just nice to switch things up a little bit. And now that we're going to be doing this a noob skip, it's great because I don't actually have to tank that. I used to tank some of those pulls, but since it's just an AoE shout and a sapper, I don't have to tank those anymore. So now there's only, I think, one pack I tank.
Oh, so you weren't even assigned to spread the mobs out when like there was the weird stuff after a noob. Like you just did that to help out, basically. You just taunted one that was like facing the raid. So like I remember like it was like there was the ones that spit the venom out, not the ones that charge into it, but it was like one of the smaller ones.
I don't remember. I don't remember doing that. There are 3 warriors assigned to lip taunt, and they take turns. So the main tank does a does the main tank lip taunt? For some reason, the main tank gets a bubble, a pally bubble, and then he taunts. I don't know why. I forget why. It might have something to do with a potion or something. But he does it gets a bubble, and he goes around and he taunts. Then the next warrior lips goes into his position and taunts. You don't taunt before you get in position, and then if we need a third one, we do that. And I might have just grabbed a loose one near the end or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I remember like you were on stream, you were like talking about it and like moving it off to the side, and I was like, I love seeing shit like that. Like I like how the positioning of your character matters so much for like doing high DPS and shit. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to tell if you watch like a really good warrior DPS play and like a speed run, it doesn't look like they're doing anything at all. So it's like it's all like weird shit like, oh, they're standing on this side of the mob so they can get to the next mob a little faster. Like fucking, oh, they're a little farther back.
Exactly.
So that way they can
Everything.
intercept.
And that's where the skill is. And again, I have to laugh at the people who are like, oh, classic's so easy. The fundamentals are easy. It's just a couple buttons. But if you want to do like the best of the best, you have to do wild stuff. You have to understand the game mechanics. You have to understand that, you can stutter step. Someone the other day told me like, oh yeah, if there's 2 mobs a little far away for a rogue who's doing blade flurry, did you know that when you use your sinister strike or your backstab, if you just like kind of stutter step, like it'll make your model bigger and you can get that thing. And like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. That makes sense. Duh. Like these little things are what gonna set apart a really good player versus someone who's just like, I read the icy veins.
Oh, dude, exactly. Or like fucking only people usually in a guild like phase 7 like know that like fucking cleaves hits, like when you cleave something where the guy you're closest to is the one that gets bounced to. So like, in like a bad guild, you'll be like, hey, nobody cleave on this fight if there's like certain mobs or people are MC'd. But in like a really good guild, like if you know what you're doing, you can pick who your cleave hits, and that lets you get a ton more damage. Or fucking like how whirlwind selects targets. Like there's all sorts of like micro things that if you know, it lets you do shit and not break like CC and crap. But you couldn't even give somebody a list of all these mechanics and have them do it. Like you just got to play the fucking game. And,
There
like,
are
get it
some
really
crazy little mechanics that it's almost like spidey senses.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to fuck them up too. I mean, I'll break a fucking poly every once in a while if I'm trying to use some really fancy mechanic, you know. And it's like, oops. So it's risky. It's cool though. I love how that's in the game.
Hmm.
I guess they probably have that shit in retail also, but it probably just doesn't matter because there's so many things that matter.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Kind of want to try Mythic Plus in retail a little bit, just because I like the idea of getting to hop into a speedrun esque thing.
Yeah.
But
That's
fuck,
I
it's
used
like,
to
I know
push.
just,
I used to push some pretty high Mythic Plus keys. Sargeras is probably one of the larger retail realms, and I was at the time There was a couple seasons I was the number one warrior on Sargeras for DPS.
hell yeah.
Granted, it's kind of like saying you're the number one ret pally on Era. There's not a lot
It's
of
not that bad, right?
there's not that many ret pallies, right? So to be number one, there's not that many.
Hmm.
There are times when Warrior on retail wasn't like, that's not what all the people are playing, but I still, was for all DPS. There was a time all Mythic Plus DPS, or maybe it was all Warriors, I forget, but I was like in the top 100. Still pretty good. Not like
Yeah, I mean, it's just not easy to
crazy
get into the
good,
high
but
rated runs unless you're doing good anyways. So it's like, it kind of means something anyways, I would think, right? You know, it's not like a rep pally where like the best rep pally is in a pretty low tier run. Generally, like in classic, the best rep pallies are not in the run like phase 7. Like,
no.
you know, like anybody could play a rep pally in phase 7 and get the rank 1 parse for rep pally because like it would just be such an edge over all the other rep pallies.
Yeah.
The new money making scheme for you guys: sell somebody a rank 1 rep pally parse in a speed run for $30,000.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
You want to come to SAF Polarity on your rep pally?
that'd be so fucking funny. If it was
Um,
like 2019, that'd probably be actually a thing that somebody would pay for. As fucking ridiculous that is. Do you remember like the Gressel going for like 1 million gold back then?
yeah.
Dude, like what the fuck? Oh my god. Why somebody want to spend that much money? I don't get it.
It's kind of wild, and it doesn't mean as much, when you can't earn it yourself.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
That
Like I couldn't
instant
imagine buying a
gratification.
legendary.
Like I've seen players come to WoW, get geared up in GDKP, and then they're gone a month later. It's like you burn the candle, man. You burn the candle at both ends there.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's so strange to me. Like it's fun to get items in like a loot council environment. I think it's very fun to get items there. Or even DKP like also, but I think less than loot council. But like every other system, it just doesn't feel all that good. Like if it's not reserved for you or DKP, it's just stats. I feel like, but otherwise, if it's like reserved for you in some sense, that's fucking awesome. Or if you spend your points from DKP,
Yeah.
it still feels pretty good.
You earned it. Like you put in the time.
Have you guys always been loot council in phase 7, or were you like DKP while you were first building your team or something?
We were DKP. We've been loot council for about 8 months or so.
Cool. Is that a hard as fuck thing to transition out of? Like, how do you make that work?
It was difficult. First, we said we were going to honor people's DKP. Tell us what you were going to spend it on. We're going to prio you on that thing. Our first loot council night, the worst thing possible happened. One, a lot of good stuff dropped. So now it's like, okay, we got Gressel, we got Slayers, we got Kiss.
That's some hard decisions, dude.
Why couldn't it have just been like a chill night? So anyways, then we were deciding, okay, who gets the kiss? And one person's like, let's just have this person, and this person roll. And I'm like, no, we are a loot council. We can't decide who wins. Let's just have people roll. We are not a roll.
So smart on your part. So smart.
We are not
such
a
mistake
roll
bullshit.
council. This is not a roll council. Our first night loot council, you're going to say, oh, we don't know. We're going to have you roll. So anyways, I'm like, no, do not roll. Someone in the loot council leaves Discord, goes into the other channel, says, okay, you, and you roll. which wasn't even the people discussed who were going to roll that I said, no, don't roll. Someone rolls, gets looted kiss. They equip it. And then I go in Discord and I say, grats, so-and-so, you're getting kiss. And while that happened, they rolled. The guy got the kiss. He looted it. And he never came back to one of our raids because he was a low tier player. And we didn't want him in our raid. Anyway.
Oh my God. I've seen something like that happen once.
And then now the person who I just said, you get kiss. So now we had to prio him on it for the next one. It didn't drop for like 2 months. Just ridiculous situation.
That sucks. The first Loot Council run I ever did, we had a similar thing happen. Like, Obsidian Edge Blade dropped on Lucifron, and it was like super early in 2019. And fucking someone asks like me if this is like an important item, and I'm like, no, not really. And so he just takes that as to ask in Discord if somebody like wants it and would use it for main spec. On Alliance, not really a main spec item. Like blue one-handers were better than OEB. And this guy says he'd use it for main spec, and he was a brand new member. He actually became my co-GM like 4 years later, but I didn't know him at this point. I did know he was like our best DPS. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'll use it for main spec. And I'm like, wait. And like it instantly gets looted to him, and he puts it on. I'm like, this is so bad, because what if Deathbringer or whatever the Axon Onyxia drops later? Then we can't give it to him. And of course, that's what drops. And so then we had to give the fucking Bis axe to somebody else. And I'm like, wow, what a great fucking start, guys. Like the first loot decision, we fucking ask everybody else like what to do with it in front of the whole raid, and then we give the fucking like the Bis one-hander for the phase to like some idiot because we can't give it to our best player now. Like, oh my God. I was fucking triggered, dude. I was like, I fucking hate this. Like, somebody else needs Master Looter. Never again, this guy.
Loot Council can be stressful. Thankfully, we greatly improved it. We have a very elaborate, we have a guy in Phase 7 who is a savant at sheets, and we calculate, first of all, we have all the items, then we have a list of who's prioed for that item, and it's performance-based Loot Council, and we also want to be like, okay, we want to make sure that people are not getting glossed over accidentally. Then we have a list of all the names and last received, and it goes in order. So it's like, okay, this person hasn't gotten an item in a long time. We need to find something for that person. They've not gotten something for several weeks. Okay, what are items they need? They need this. Okay, we're going to try and, get that to them next. They're doing well. They deserve an item. We want them to not, get glossed over. We have several different things that track, how much they've gotten. For example, I know it's kind of silly because we were DKP and now we're Loot Council, but we have essentially in our tracking system, we have if we give someone an item, it kind of gives them an amount of points. And if you have a really big score, it's like, okay, you got a lot of shit. You don't get any more items. You need that to decay down. So it's almost like the opposite of DKP. We literally moved away from DKP, and we're kind of still DKP with a lot more steps. It's kind of funny.
That's how every good Loot Council is, though. Every item counts for something. Those PvPers, they'll be like, oh, can I get PvP items and not have it affect PvE? It's like only if those PvP items are literally fucking useless, which is not usually the case. Someone be like, can I have Ashbringer and Aggressal? Fuck no. You know?
So basically, we have a pretty elaborate Loot Council sheets. We have a rotating Loot Council, so we invite 3 people per month from the raid to come on Loot Council, just so they see what's going on in the background, just so that they have faith in us that we're, it's not corrupt Loot Council. There was a joke for a while. We used to have a lot of orbiters from Phase 7 saying that Phase 7 has a corrupt Loot Council. It's like, okay, you left the guild because XYZ, and now you just want to shit talk us. These are people who said phase 7 will never get sub 60. These are people who said phase 7 has players who are like horrible, blah 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 blah, and yet here we are, sub 40 or 47-minute Naxx, right? So there's all these orbiters, and it's like, okay, well, here we are now. You said your shit, but
That's funny. Yeah, we'd in all the guilds I've been in, like we'd every time like Loot Council would like leave the room, everybody say CLC, CLC, like as like a fucking meme.
just
But
a yeah, just a funny joke. And yeah, we're very careful about people on Loot Council getting loot, and we consider the optics and all that kind of stuff. But hey, we need loot too, man.
were you kind of like, so you're the bank guy before you went to LC, right?
So like I became an officer, and my main role was just the banking. I didn't do much else. Our current guild master and raid leader at the time had some crazy stuff come up in life. He stopped raiding with us, so we had a new guild master. I also really stepped up and did a ton of. I became raid leader, and that was a trip. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of changes that happened.
Were you
And,
kind of like the head of Loot Council for like a bit in this intermediate period between like DKP and
I
LC?
no, I wasn't the head of Loot Council, but there was just a lot that I was doing in the background. Um, when there was a period of time when we had like 7 officers because we needed help with stuff. Now we just have 3 officers, and we have like officer juniors who help out, but we have like 3 officers basically.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, there's been a lot of restructuring, but it seems to be working for us.
Yeah, I think less is best with officers, honestly. Like
Yeah,
seven is
too many
a very
cooks in the
common
kitchen.
number, but
But we do have a lot. We do have a lot of officer juniors, we call them. People who have been in the guild for a long time. People who give their opinions on things. They don't have a final say, but they're like, it's like a council of sorts. And so they have access to some different channels, for maybe tactics, like a new strategy we're going to do it. And they're like, well, this, or this. Or we have people on Loot Council. And I try not to do too much stuff with Loot Council anymore because I just don't like it.
yeah, Loot Council sucks, dude.
Like I don't,
It sucks.
it's not, I don't mind it.
It's the best system.
I don't mind it. It's just like I don't like when I finish a raid, I don't want to be like, all right, guys, see you tomorrow. End stream. Go do Loot Council. I want to keep streaming rather
Yeah, I
than
getcha.
rather than do Loot Council. And so we have other people who are very capable of doing the Loot Council, and so we have
Yeah, I've always
we
hated
have
doing it.
we have Loot Council meetings prior to the raid, and we discuss a lot of big things. So usually when an item drops, we already know who's getting it. So I don't need to be in the Loot Council channel after the bosses die to be like, okay, who's getting this or this? Because sometimes we don't have everything decided. I trust them.
Hell yeah. Yeah, in the last like few guilds where I've like been in leadership, I've not really been involved in like the council's decisions. Like usually be like, if there's somebody who hasn't gotten loot in a while, and they're like really good and they're up for something big, I'd be like, hey, this guy should get like item A, B, or C, like probably the next one that drops if they want it. But like if it drops, let them. It's like maybe if Kiss and Gressel drop and this guy's up for either, like ask him like, okay, do you want Kiss now or do you want to wait on Gressel? Do you want Gressel now or you want to wait on Kiss? Stuff like that. And then I just wanted fucking nothing to do with like 95% of the decisions on that shit.
Yeah.
But like we always did kind of a weird way where we had like we had like a shadow Loot Council, I'd say, where like I tell them do whatever you think's the best and then just blame me for it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't actually be like involved in the decision making, and then they wouldn't be stressed out about like who was making like we had like junior officer type people, and so like they'd understand how that was working, but like the people who like weren't as invested in the guild, like they didn't like realize how the decisions were actually made. People didn't bitch about it, so like I think it worked, but
Yeah.
fucking Loot Councils, it's the best system, but it's a motherfucker.
It's a lot of
especially when you're
work.
first
It's a
starting
lot
it.
of work. but we want to make sure that, Gressel's going to the best player, not the person with the highest DKP who refused to level engineering. That was early days of Phase 7.
Yeah. Oh my god. DKP's fucking cool, but it's so hard to balance it, especially with shit like that. And especially in a guild like yours where it's like there's so many ways somebody could like differentiate themselves. Like fucking engineering, getting the dumb movement speed trinkets, fucking the level of preparedness you guys expect is amazing, but it's fucking huge. Guild leading shit's super interesting. So like who's the so you're an officer, and then I imagine the raid leader's one of the officers. Is the raid
Actually,
leader
he doesn't want to be an officer.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he one of the junior officers? He like keep that shit the fuck away from me?
Pretty much, yeah. He has access to channels that affect him. He's like, I don't want to deal with that shit.
That's so damn funny.
He's smart.
Yeah, I mean it's drama. I mean it's probably not too much drama because you guys like run such a
yeah, we don't have too much
organization,
drama. We've had a little bit here and there, but not too much.
Yeah, I imagine getting to where you are, like it was probably there's some really painful times, and now you've made it so fucking sick that like it's like whatever, and it's a smoothly run operation, but hard to get there, I imagine.
Yeah.
Especially in Era, there's probably, even though like you guys probably have way less churn than the average guild because you're super fucking good, but I imagine that the churn's still really high. Like what, you only got like 9 people from the original team, right?
Yeah, that's over the last 2 years. We really try to keep people happy and in the guild, not burn out. So we offer people like, hey, if you want to bench, let us know. We can bench you this week. Take a week off, do something else. Go to a GDKP, make some gold, whatever. Or priests. It's tough to get priests. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Is that like the only thing you guys are recruiting is priests?
Pretty much.
Valleys also.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this is an ad for priests. If you're a really, really good priest and you want to be absolutely amazing, maybe message Dwarflord.
Like the best priest, if you think you're the best priest in the world.
Hell yeah. I imagine you got plenty of not great priests hitting you guys up, right? And it's just like you need to make sure the healers are super hot so you can take like 7 or 8 of them. Is that what you're doing? Like, or 9?
The least amount of healers we took to Naxx is 9, which is kind of crazy. But 10 is probably more sane and safe.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had less than 11 or 12 in any run.
Yeah.
Like, and even then, it's spooky.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
It's got to be extra crazy if, like, you have, so on Lotheb, when you only have, like, 4 healers, are the other healers going with people to prepare some, like, trash?
Yeah, they go somewhere else. So when Hygen dies, we Swiftness Potion to get to Lotheb, and they're just going the other way. They just go to the beginning of the instance so that when we get to DK Wing and we can't heal, well, they can still heal.
Oh, okay. Nice. Interesting. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
we
that
used to use a diamond flask, right? We used to have the all warriors use your diamond flask because the healers couldn't heal, and that works. But then what you're having to do is like, still have a little wait, right? Equip your diamond flask right away after Lotheb, and then let's do this pull. Okay, now diamond flask. Okay, and we're back in combat. Like, but now we don't do that. So. So many little things have changed.
That shit's so cool. And that kind of crap can matter for a regular guild too. I mean, maybe not as much with they would, you could just wait for the debuff, but stuff like picking the sequence of the fights that you do, even just to like mitigate risk, that could be a big thing. Like in a pug, I probably wouldn't go patchwork first unless the plan was like a fuck up on patchwork would mean that we would just cancel the pug,
Yeah. Yeah, so we did ultimately change our Naxx wings because we wanted to end at Thaddeus so we can go straight into Saffron.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people, they probably end on, if they're not like doing stuff like that, they'd end on 4 Horsemen, I guess.
Yeah, because that's the hardest boss, so they're going to end on that.
Then everybody goes fucking like spider, like Noth first, basically. That's pretty just normal shit.
Yeah, well, a lot of
Although
times, yeah, they're gonna do unbooned or booned, like no buffs out, Anubercon and Fairlina. Then they're gonna probably unboon at Maxina, and then they're gonna keep them out for all of Plagwing because that's the joke. And then they'll keep them out for Patchwork and everything. But then DK Wing, put them away.
how do you guys kite the Galuth ads? Do you use a paladin or is it like a bunch of mages?
Pally, yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. Why isn't that more fucking popular, dude? I remember back in the day, like it was so hard to get people to want to not just use mages, and like fucking mages is such a bad way compared to Pally for that.
I thought everyone, in my experience, did Pally.
I guess I just played a bunch of fucking idiots in the
Maybe.
groups that I wasn't running back then. Cause like I remember be like, okay guys, let's have the 5 fucking mages do this. I'm like, this is absolutely psychotic. This is so easy to fuck up. Like have one Pally fucking buff people, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys have like a warrior stay with them and like piercing howler?
Exactly.
Hell yeah. Nice, nice. Did that used to be you when you were like the 4th tank?
There's a time when I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done all the things for the raid, I imagine, before. All the shitty assignments to make the shit go better. Now
Yeah.
you finally get to
I've
be a
done
little
it.
more
I've
relaxed.
done it all. I've done it all.
I think that's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you guys have like all the junior officers and stuff in officer chat too, like in game?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the last guild I was in, we only had like me and one other guy were officers, so we had and this is a little BM of us. We used officer chat as high DPS chat, and so like people who did high DPS, I just gave them access to officer chat, which is like kind of shit talking like half the raid or like 2/3 of the raid, but that's what we used it for.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so in high DPS chat, you couldn't shit talk people, but you could shit talk the raid in high DPS chat.
Yeah.
Just goofy stuff. Oh my god. When's your raid tonight?
3 hours.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. I probably got to go in a little bit. But
Yeah. We've been talking for 2.5 hours here, so I definitely want to do
Make us
some
some
raid
food or
prep. Do some raid prep.
hell yeah. Should we call it here then, or anything else?
Yeah,
you think we
yeah,
can
yeah.
talk
Let's do
about?
it.
Cool, cool. I had a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll do this shit again. I'll catch you
Absolutely.
later. You go by Malik usually, right? Not Dwarflord when you're with your friends.
Yeah, Malik, Dwarflord, whatever.
Okay, so I'll see you later, Malik. But yeah, make sure you check out Dwarflord's channel, everybody. Okay, he's gonna be fucking streaming in 3 hours.
Yippers.
Peace, dude.
All right, take care, Jake.
Yep. See you later.
Be well, be well.